All right,
Ready?
cheers. I don't have anything. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers to episode 196.
196. Damn, let's do the thing.
Some tea.
Oh,
Flavor is elderberry lemon.
fruity.
That's not bad. I put a bunch of stuff in it. I put some garlic in it, so my breath is disgusting
Ew.
right now.
In tea?
What the?
Garlic helps.
Oh,
Garlic helps your immune system a little
you're
bit. So
sick again.
Use
Holy
like honey
shit.
or like
honey's in here too.
cinnamon.
Dude, that's disgusting.
Garlic?
That is
Not.
like the grossest
What, you
shit
making
I've
chicken?
ever heard.
I
You're drinking garlic.
I ate a piece of garlic too, a clove, half a clove, just to feel better.
There's other ways.
It helps you out.
I believe you, but
What are you making, chicken?
go ahead, do your thing,
Um,
man. I hope it works.
So you're sick again.
No, I just woke up and my throat was a little scratchy
COVID.
today,
Grant's got COVID again.
so I'm trying to get rid of it. before it
11th
starts.
time for those counting at home.
This tea bag also has a little note here. I'm going to read it. A little inspirational quote. Gratitude is not about what is received. It's
Give me your
about how
tea
you
bag quote.
receive what is there. Let me do
That's
that one
really
more
cool,
time.
Grant. But I really don't care. You don't need
Gratitude
No,
is
that's
not
fine.
about what is received. It's about how you receive what is there.
Ugh.
That makes a lot of sense. That's deep.
Yeah. The tea bag is bagging you pretty good.
That would have been good before Christmas time. A little gratitude for
I
everyone.
can't believe you're sick for the 11th time with COVID-19.
Alex, it's 9 degrees here. Would you cut us some slack
Oh,
in the
it's
state?
cold here too.
No, it's not.
40 right now.
The state probably shut down.
There was a freeze warning this morning. They don't have salt here, so
I saw there's actually supposed to be a snowstorm for the Cotton Bowl.
yeah. It's gonna snow here in Texas. Not here, but
They might cancel
Dallas,
the game.
maybe. No.
There's snow on the ground.
Same
I don't
thing
know how people
happened
are
for
gonna
the
get there.
Packers Steelers Super Bowl. If people remember that.
And game was in Texas.
I believe so.
Jerry's
Yeah, I
World.
do remember some event was a big deal.
Same thing happened. That's the last time I think it's happened. Of course, it's coinciding with a big football game.
Well, since we're talking about weather, it's January 6th here in Michigan. 2025. Welcome to 2025. First show of 2025. Be
Seen you
thinking
guys
about.
since last year.
Oh, right you are, EC. Right you are.
Thanks, GA.
The way Evan said that sounded just like the way an announcer would say it. Make sure you keep your New Year's resolutions in mind as we talk throughout the show. I forgot to put it on.
Is that on the
dot.
show, Doc?
Well, it is now, buddy.
Are you holding me accountable
just-
for last year?
What
I
was
don't
yours?
really remember
I
what
failed
yours
every
was.
single one last year. I know 2 of them and I didn't accomplish it.
You were over.
I think I
Yeah,
accomplished
I'm
one
going
of
to
them.
rinse and repeat from last year. See if anybody notices.
I did go back and listen one year. I remember. I didn't do that this year. I did, though, go back and listen to what our Lions regular season record predictions were. So there's a little teaser for later in the show when we
Oh,
talk about our
No,
team.
we didn't get it right.
Not a little. Who would have
Stay
thought we would go
tuned.
15-2?
No one.
Stay tuned to see.
No, Grant.
So we're going to talk about Pookies and Dookies. We'll bring that back. Detroit Lions, NFL wildcard playoff predictions. Talk about that weekend coming up. We will also talk about the college football playoffs. There's been a lot that's happened in that. We took, for those that, well, anyone listening, you probably have listened before, but if you haven't, we just took 2 weeks off. And nice little, something about the Christmas New Year's Day being on Wednesdays seemed to really,
It's impossible to do anything.
this break felt weirder than normal. There was football on every single day. There was a lot. There was a lot that was going on sports wise over break and just traveling and all that. And like I said, with the Wednesday, the way the holidays worked, Alex just went back to work today. So I mean, we had to get back in the swing of things here. So
Don't
we're
tell
back.
people what I do.
We are back after 2 weeks off. So we have a lot to discuss because I was teeing that up because the college football playoffs we haven't talked about at all. If you think about it, the last show we did was before Indiana and Notre Dame played, which we all watched together. We haven't talked about, at least on air, since it started. We did our bracket predictions, which I don't know how those turned out. I have not gone back and looked. I'm sure we didn't get them all right. I know we had Penn State going to the semifinal though, so I think we're going to be good there.
I picked Georgia. Oh, I forgot we did a joint one.
Yeah, we did Oregon. I know that.
Oh,
That didn't work. We probably are 2 for 4. I think we did Georgia as well. I don't think we did Notre Dame. But anyways, we'll talk about the college football playoffs. And then TBD, I don't know if we'll have enough time, but I threw in a couple miscellaneous ones about our 2 basketball teams here in the state. And then Pistons and Red Wings. The Red Wings fired their coach.
Undefeated in 2025.
Yeah,
both
undefeated
of them
after Coach Fryan. I will never forget where I was. I was Christmas. No, it was the
You'll
26th.
never forget.
It was the 26th.
Yeah,
the day after
26th. Playing golf the day after Christmas in Auburn in British Open conditions, just getting dumped on. I just saw my first ever armadillo. Got back in the car, looked at my phone. Lalonde fired. I'll never forget that. Said out loud, "Wow, the Red Wings actually fired their coach."
I was sipping coffee, sitting on my couch,
I was on an airplane. I was on an airplane.
and I timed it up so perfectly that I was scrolling through Twitter and refreshed, and that was the first thing to pop up.
You're the first to know.
You were the first
Twitter.
person besides the person that tweeted it.
It was like 5 seconds later. Yes.
Wow. What a rush that is when you look at it. Wow, it's only 5 minutes old.
And then I questioned myself if it was real or not. I had back check and everything.
Oh, so you've grown because I'll never forget the one time you told us we got Bryn Forbes on the way up north. So some growth
so
from
bad.
EC on checking Twitter accounts.
It was so bad.
Looked at the account, it was like 300 followers. We're like, Evan, are you sure about this?
Hell yes.
Like, I don't know, this guy said it. He's a Piston. All right. So before we get into all of that, we don't have to go obviously day by day. That probably would take 2 hours, but some highlights, maybe some highlights and some lowlights of your 2-week break. Alex, we'll start with you. You had some travels to the West Coast, unless you don't want to divulge all your secret information of your life.
Well, I don't, but I'll give some. I flew to Michigan the 20th to the 24th.
Hey, Alex, good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
Saw GA and EC.
Oh.
C-Dub, WC.
Oh.
A lot more people. BV, BB, HC, CS, RC, CP, J-Dub, CO. No double Ds. I think that's everyone. Sorry to whoever I missed. They'll probably feel bad. Saw everybody. Went to Evan's home. Went to Cody with the C's home. Went to Muck's.
Embers.
The local watering hole. Did not go to Embers.
Okay. Evan, have you been to Embers?
Yeah.
I've never been.
Me either. So I felt left out.
I've been in there 3 times.
Saw my family.
Important.
Yep. And then I flew back to Houston on Christmas Eve evening.
It became famous. Let's not forget.
I was on TV.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
On TV.
That felt ages
Got
ago.
ambushed. Yeah, I forgot about it.
For those that wouldn't know what we're talking about, and
I was going to explain it.
Okay, go ahead. I didn't know if you were.
Yeah, I walked into the airport. There's like 6 people in there, and the cameraman and reporter from Fox 2 or something. Fox 2? Fox 4?
Fox 2.
Run up to me. Like, sir, you got a second? And then she stands next to me with her microphone. And
Give
I'm
a
like,
moment
what?
to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
She's like, just want to ask you a couple questions. I had no idea what she was going to ask me. So yeah, then they asked me a couple questions.
Probably about how they travel.
She did not say anything. She's like, just have a couple questions. And I was like, okay.
What's your social security number?
That's really how they got me. So I'm like, they'll probably interview a bunch of people, and I'll see this whole reel on the news later. Nope, I was the only one, the only person on TV. It's the full thing, every question I answered, and then she talked about the airport for 20 minutes. It's like a
little news package, and you were the I was
the guy.
Special reel,
I guess.
I'll cut it and make a clip out of it. It's good stuff.
Okay.
That's all right. It's so good.
I'm asking you to not.
People. It's so good. I'm on your side. Her questions were tough. I mean,
bad questions.
She obviously must have been a little desperate, not because she went up to you, but because she ran up to you. Like, I need someone to talk to because I haven't gotten anything from anyone. You gave her the answers, but her questions were just like, what are your thoughts
generic.
tomorrow? And you're just like,
I don't know. It's like, you think it'll be busy tomorrow? Or do you think it'll be this not busy tomorrow? I'm like, no, I don't know. I don't fly every day. What kind of questions are these?
Yeah.
She's like, are you surprised by the airport right now? What do you mean? Like, I don't get it. So, bad questions. I thought she was dumb.
Not, maybe it's my sports media degree coming out here, but there's just so many better ones she could have asked you. Like, were you stressed coming today? Did you think you needed to give yourself 2-hour buffer? Like a
don't ask them, like, question would have been nice.
What do you think it's going to be like tomorrow? Like, Alex has any clue or care in the world what the airport looks like tomorrow when he's just trying to get back to Houston.
I'm not interested at all. So I thought her questions were
fly
stupid.
on Christmas Eve, I guess. The line of
I was being sarcastic when she asked me. I'm like, what kind of questions are these? So yeah, I was not thrilled about that. Unfortunately, found it. Maybe I shouldn't have. So that happened Christmas Eve night. Then I got back to Houston pretty late. I think I had some flight troubles on that one. I can't remember. Maybe not.
Probably.
Christmas Day. Spent solo. Second time in my life. Well, one time I was kind of solo with Grant because we both had COVID, but
the
Grant spent the whole day on FaceTime opening presents with his
with
parents.
Another human. I think we took some gummies that night.
I think we did. Yeah, we definitely did. Watched a super stupid movie.
The bear one. Wasn't it the
bear
like
one?
Cocaine Bear?
Like everybody dies. No, I watched that with Drew.
Oh, this is the end.
This is the end. It's just everyone gets like murdered. All these celebrities are getting killed.
Yeah, it's good. It's kind of dumb.
It was very dumb.
A couple good scenes.
So yeah, spent Christmas. Realized because I was in Michigan and came back to Houston, I had no food, and it was Christmas Day. So all I had was some frozen turkey in the freezer. So I thawed that, made some rice, and just had turkey, rice, and Red Hot 3 times.
Oh my God. That sounds so bad.
Yeah,
that's worse than being alone on Christmas, is having to eat that 3 times in a row.
That part was terrible. And then I watched Carry On. Carry On?
You watched that too? What is it? I watched
it on Christmas Day. I mean, there were so many ads for it. Like, I saw it on the way to the airport. I saw it leaving the airport on a billboard. I'm like, I gotta just watch this.
I feel comfortable spoiling parts for Evan because it's not. I don't. Well, what was your review? Really, I thought it was atrocious.
I mean, it's not a great movie by any means. Like, you don't need to watch it. Like, you're fine missing it. But like,
let me say this: the acting
in the
beginning was bad, but like, I guess the absurdness of it was
so ridiculous that it was kind of interesting. I guess
it was fast paced.
I don't know.
That dude,
I was also just at the airport, so I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I flew the next day after seeing it. But the one guy that camped out in the van with the creepy mustache, that was a very, very scary actor. I don't know where they picked that guy up from, but
which one?
The one that sits in the van the whole time with the creepy mustache and has a bear 50 cal. Oh my God, he looked like a demented Mario character. And I was like, this guy's a problem.
The girl was hot.
Okay.
I don't know who that was, but Evan.
Jason Bateman had to give a fat bag to sign up to do that.
I haven't.
He was very good in that movie.
It's like they just put it on everyone's Netflix page, the top of Netflix, and I think every family got sucked into watching it over the holidays.
Well, I watched it Christmas Day.
Carry On 2024 film.
Ethan Kopech put in a tough spot.
Oh, I saw that.
Is he from
movie?
You know what it was? I'd never seen him in anything before. It was
no. He's in something.
This is rated R. Paul Blart Mall Cop. It's the same plot. It's just like intense and like people actually die.
Taron Egerton.
When that guy gets stabbed in the neck with a pen, that was a little much for me.
That guy is from
Kingsman.
That's it. Kingsman. Yes. I think of the name. Anyways, I watched that on Christmas Day. Flew to California on 26th, so I was only
You watched Beyonce?
No,
That was good entertainment for us down there.
I guess I could have went to the game if I was dying.
Yeah, you could have. You could have got out of eating just rice and chicken. You could have gone to the game just for food.
Just got a hot dog.
Standing room only ticket and eat.
Just here for dogs. I flew to California the 26th through the 31st. Spent time with my family.
So 5 days in Cali.
Did a bottomless mimosa boat cruise. That was pretty fun. I'm talking like you take a sip of your champagne, they fill it like immediately. It's just not.
That would stress me out.
You ever put the hand over the glass and be like, no, not yet.
He's breathing down your neck.
I didn't do that. Like I'd go pee, I'd come back, my glass is full, like all the time, which is kind of crazy. And they had a full buffet thing, so not bad. Went to Venice Beach, I think, Santa Monica Pier. Did a little boardwalk
GTA.
Thing. Yeah, exactly. Basically. GTA. That's what everyone talks about there. Like, this is GTA.
This is where I got 5 stars with the cops. I was just murking people left and right.
Tyler, my future brother-in-law, he said, "Yeah, I've drove a lot of cop cars off this bridge."
Isn't Venice the big workout place?
Yeah, Muscle Beach. Saw that.
You hit any sets?
So cool. No.
What?
Went to a rooftop bar, watched the sunset. That was pretty cool on the beach. Did a little celebrity through the Hollywood Hills tour thing where you see all of their houses and mansions way up top. They're $40 million homes.
What'd you think?
Any notable quotes from G? Just driving by every single house.
No, so there was a row of 4. They were all in the row of 4, and then I was by myself on the row in front of them.
I would have paid money just to videotape him the entire time.
Looking around.
Oh, look at that!
He did buy that lifeguard sweatshirt. He thought it was the coolest, most hilarious thing he's ever done. He just kept walking up to us and be like, "I got to save someone. I'm a lifeguard."
Oh my god.
So that's pretty fun.
Couple questions about the little tour ride quickly.
Yeah.
See if it was similar. Did you feel that the driver was going to kill you the way they would drive up and down the mountains?
So we probably did the same one.
Probably. I mean, they're all similar. There's Decker buses.
Nut job up this hill. He's talking on the mic. He's making jokes. Mariah Carey singing that one Christmas song. And he's like, "Hit it, Mariah." Dude, this guy's a freak.
They're all people that want to be actors. They just have to drive tourist bus to get by until they hopefully hit their big break.
So Walk of Stars or whatever. What is that called? Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
It's dump.
Grungy.
I mean, that is a dump. I can't believe people enjoy that. It's
people talk badly about Detroit, but I would say the Hollywood Walk of Fame is pretty disgusting.
Yeah, that shit's terrible. Would never recommend that to
I wouldn't even want my star there.
No, I mean, it's gross. And there's so many people just it smells bad. Yeah, that's terrible.
Did you see Justin Bieber's house on your tour? His old one that was a big glass bubble? They always point that one out. Not always, I did it one time, but I remember that house. And I was I can't believe he was 17 years old. I was I would probably throw some parties and have DUIs if I lived up there.
Yeah, they showed us that video. I saw Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani's new house.
I was gonna. That's the other one too. This is the same tour. It's the exact same
tour. We did the same tour.
Yeah.
What else did we do? Went to some nice dinners. Went to that whatever. My sister claims that Nobu's some super popular thing, so we went to that. That was pretty good meal. It's
I think it's just a big
best
chain.
Thing you ate.
Yeah, it's a chain, but I don't know, fancy.
That's the best thing you ate. Something that
was a top 5 of unbelievable. Talk like me for a second.
There's nothing that was unbelievable.
No top 5 meals of your life were had on this trip.
No, I don't think so.
Wow.
Maybe I was drinking too much to notice. I don't know. Saw USC's campus.
Oh.
Right on. See Lincoln Riley?
Fun fact:
See,
USC's entire campus is gated.
Yes, it's a private.
Because
University.
it's so shitty outside of it. Because it's all homeless people and drug addicts.
Oh,
so their campus is gated, so no one can get into it. You
Not
have to
good.
go through security to go on campus.
That's crazy.
Super nice though. Really nice campus.
Fight on.
And then I feel like we did one other thing of note. Can't really remember. I went in a bar inside a bar inside a bar.
What?
You walk into a bar.
Okay.
Go upstairs to another bar, different bar, and then walk down a hallway into another room into another bar. So a bar inside a bar inside a bar.
And they're all like separate entities?
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. I think that's...
Did you guys stay downtown? I think you said that before you left, that you were staying...
We stayed downtown because Tyler works for the Omni, so it's like super cheap rooms.
Good deal.
Hotel's nice.
Did it feel like California just doesn't feel like the United States to you, or did it feel like the United States?
I mean, it felt like the United States. It just felt like everybody there is just like fake wannabes. Like that's what it is. Or heroin addicts.
Oh.
One guy walked past my dad on the road. My dad was like kind of in the way, not really. Like he walked by him and he like got my dad's face and was like, "What the are you doing, you?" And my dad just looked like, "What?" Didn't do anything. But then later he's like, "Yeah, he doesn't know that if he messed with the wrong guy, that would have been real trouble for him." Garrett being all tough.
Was he in his hoodie at the time?
No, not yet. Hadn't bought it yet.
Was the guy British? You made him sound like he was British.
It was just, I don't know. He's on drugs. I couldn't really tell. He's a weird guy.
Evan, do you hear any highlights or lowlights from your break?
Busy break. Okay, so us taking 2 weeks off aligned with my work break, school break, however you want to call it. That job was off for 2 weeks, but basketball, my other job, was not off for 2 weeks. Basketball, well, we're 6-1 now on the year.
Hell yeah.
Comeback victory at our last game. Actually, a competitive team that we faced.
Which was?
We played Jackson Northwest.
Oh, a staple to come see basketball.
Their varsity team. Two
what
younger brothers
that team?
of... I don't know what you said.
Sorry, I was listening to Evan's question first.
Sorry. I just said, do you remember what Grant did against that team?
No, I don't
I
know.
had double fouls on one play.
Disgusting flagrant foul.
Was that against Jackson Northwest or was that against
Also had
Park
9 points, I think. I think I had 9 points.
At Jackson Northwest, and Grant took out
You played at Jackson Northwest?
Yes.
It was a disgusting
I thought you made a half-court shot. Or maybe Silas did. Someone made a half-court shot.
I thought that wasn't Coldwater?
No, that was at
Jackson Northwest because I got asked multiple times, Evan, have you ever been in this
gym
gym
played
before?
There.
And I was like, no, I've never been in this
It might have been a small one. It could have been a small gym.
I'd also played there in travel.
We probably didn't play
played them all
gym.
the time in travel. They're like
we played at Jackson Northwest freshman year basketball.
No, it was middle school.
No, freshman year.
We did not play.
It was
that
ninth
in middle
grade.
School. Middle school, we only play SEC
year.
teams.
Oh, it could have been middle school. Alex, you could be right about that.
I think it was middle school.
There's no shot.
All I know is
guarantee
he was probably at the elbow. I was at the 3-point line. I caught up and I just hacked it over his nose. No easy ones.
And they
gave me 2 fouls though. They gave me a personal and a flagrant or a tech, which you can't do. They let the kid shoot 4 free throws and they got the ball. It made no sense.
I remember because the parents were going berserk.
My dad was keeping book, and he was like, "You can't have 4 free throws on one."
Larry
play.
was
got
super pissed.
Was Larry getting technical?
Maybe there was 3 fouls assessed across.
This
the board.
isn't middle school, and this is at Jackson Northwest. This is like 7th grade, 8th grade. This might be 8th grade.
Yeah,
I remember.
All right.
Anyway,
whose younger brothers are on the varsity team at Jackson Northwest?
That we would know.
We know.
Yes.
Like that went to high school with us?
No. Big picture.
Like they're an athlete.
They're currently in college athlete, and his 2 younger brothers
Evan,
are currently
do you know how many options there could be for this?
If you were a ball knower, you would know exactly who I'm talking about.
Just trying to think of any good
They
players.
play basketball?
Did this kid come from Jackson as well?
This kid grew up in Jackson Northwest and then transferred and went to a prep school to play basketball.
So this kid's like legit.
Watts?
No.
I have no idea. I'm just taking
Like, how
shots
good
in
is
the
this
dark.
person?
Not very good, according to some people. And probably according to
White?
your words. Yes.
He's white.
Oh, yeah.
Carson Cooper.
Carson Cooper.
Went to Jackson.
2 younger brothers.
Hmm.
Varsity
I
beat
didn't
them
say he
too.
was
Comeback
that bad.
victory as well.
Wow.
So basketball, we also played Hudson on a Monday afternoon.
Oh, we also played there, Ivan. You remember that? We scrimmaged at Hudson. I
We
think,
did. I do remember
11th
scrimmaging
grade.
at Hudson. That was our
It's a lot of black and orange.
Freshman or sophomore year too.
It's like the smallest gym I've ever seen in my life.
It's nice now, but we played at home. I didn't really saw a lot of the same friends that we did. New Year's Eve was good. New Year's Day had a couple parties.
What'd you do?
I was in CO's
Did you
house.
see the ball drop?
I did.
We got a picture
Nice.
of all of them.
Yes.
What do you
I
mean?
thought that was fake.
Oh,
That was, I did too.
I
I
thought that
glanced.
was Photoshopped.
I was like, "What's this?" I was like, "Wait, that's real."
Yeah, I didn't know that was real.
did that. Watch football basically nonstop every weekend. Was great.
Was it?
I was sick of the NFL games during the week. That pissed me off.
I'm sick of the playoff
They weren't
games.
great. I don't need games on Christmas Day.
I don't either.
No, that was dumb.
I
That
needed
pissed me
something
off.
on Christmas Eve. I can tell you what.
A
There
Christmas
was
movie.
nothing on TV on Christmas Eve.
Carry on.
Carry on. I watched the new Grinch that night.
Didn't ask.
Sorry.
My brother came home for 2 weeks. First time I saw him in a year and a half. First time he was home
Had
for
some
Christmas for 3 years.
Wild stories. Just some wild stories.
And
Yeah, I tell everyone those stories.
it's all right. He told a bunch of people.
Just kidding.
My
He told
parents-
my parents because he came over and said hello.
My parents held a party the Friday before he left, like the 28th, I think.
Oh yeah, that was that Spartan
good.
party.
It was good.
Yeah.
No.
Alex.
I couldn't
What?
because the night before or 2 days before I did.
You got
Before I did. I
You're a
didn't see
2-day
the
hangover
second-
guy
now.
I didn't
You're
see
a
the second
bad
half
boy.
of the Tennessee Ohio State game.
I
forgot
remember that
about
picture
that.
because I asked about Will Howard and they sent
I was
pictures of
there.
you asleep on the floor.
Adam
Evan has no idea what Will Howard's doing right now.
Garbanzo bean.
The fact
did
is,
say-
though, I woke up the next morning and felt totally fine.
Threw up.
I did throw up, and then I fell back asleep, woke up again, and I felt like $1,000,000. Nothing happened to me.
That's good stuff.
Nothing too big highlights.
Now you're in 2025
I'm in 2025.
Birthday month.
with a new hot, sexy target.
Oh, I started a new job today.
Oh, this seems like big news.
Whoa.
Are you a sports agent?
No. New team I'm coaching. First time
geez.
ever coaching
Add it to the
a
list.
girls team.
Women's basketball.
Yep.
Nice.
Forgot. That was on the list though.
First time ever. I was extremely
How's that
nervous
going?
going into practice today.
Just 'cause you feel like you can't like get after them as much, or
No, I just don't know what to. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know.
so how'd it go?
I thought
Are
it
you the
went
head
well.
coach?
Yes, I am.
Fire up the Caitlin Clark highlights.
You got any
Sorry.
chicks or ladies or girls, females that are true ballers?
Yes.
You do.
Oh
You
yeah.
got a Caitlin Clark on your
You
team.
can just call them girls, Alex.
Yeah, I realized I shouldn't say chicks.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Do you have any female hoopers?
We should be good.
I said ballers. So you guys are good. Are they like better than some of the Duke teams you've coached?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. This must be a very good basketball team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not every day you hear that. Small town
They're going to
women's
be good.
basketball team being that good.
Evan was handed the keys to a winner. He just got to turn
Yes.
the ignition on and just
Correct.
not mess it up.
What kind of offense are we running?
4 out,
Wisconsin.
5 out.
You don't know? You
4
don't
out
have
or
a
5 out.
binder ready to go?
No, he
Our
adapts to his
first
personnel.
I'll be honest. Our first game's not until I think 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. 20th,
You gotta
first,
get-
21st.
Ramping up, Evan.
3-man weave.
I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to defend, rebound,
And run.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
Toughness, attitude, and effort. 3 things you can control every single day.
Depends on how
At that level, defend, rebound, and run in transition. Well, you're going to get them into shape. That's what the 2 weeks are for.
Or if you're outmatched, you really got to slow it down. Play it in a meat grinder because there's no shot clock in high school sports, so you can just muck that game up.
Defend, rebound, run. That's the philosophy for this basketball
We're going to practice tomorrow saying that.
Evan's going to bring out the football
You need an
pads tomorrow.
assistant coach? I'll fly in on game days.
Can't wait.
Defend, rebound, and run.
Evan goes, first practice, easy. Second one, here's the football pads. Let's start rebounding.
Let's do it.
You ever heard Tom
no
Izzo's
reason
wardrobe?
why you're not an assistant. You've always wanted to coach. I mean, get in there.
I probably would do reffing first, like we talked about a couple of shows ago.
What? That doesn't get you to where you want to be.
It's not gonna. It's my job.
Grant, you want to ref with me? First weekend of February at Tecumseh.
Oh, look at this. An opportunity. Will Grant capitalize?
I think I'm busy that weekend.
He's out. Oh, you actually are busy that weekend.
I don't know if it's that weekend. It might be the next
I think
weekend.
it's that weekend.
The first weekend of February is like the second.
Yes, that day.
Yeah.
Isn't that when we
That's
go?
the Pro Bowl. No. I have it all mapped out. I put all the dates in my calendar today. I know what the first 2 months of the year look like.
8th?
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's see. My break after we
No,
recorded.
We didn't
I saw all you guys that weekend before the playoffs.
Only for one day.
On the 23rd, flew to Auburn, Alabama, and then stayed there until Saturday the 28th. And then went back to work Monday, Tuesday, had Wednesday off, worked Thursday, Friday. Yeah, I did take the PTO off for all of Christmas week, but you only get Christmas Day and New Year's Day off. Guaranteed. The rest you got to figure out with your hours. So I was like, last year I worked the day after Christmas. I said I'm never doing that again. I did have some good meals. I don't know if anything was like absolutely unbelievable. I don't know. I guess the golf round was fun. It was freezing cold. It was raining. It was like I kept calling it the Open. It was the British Open conditions. It was a par 3 course, which was up my alley. I did not shoot great by any means, but I did have 2 birdies, which is all you really need to know about the round. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't in Michigan.
Down in Alabama.
I could see him.
Got out of the house on the 26th. It was a cool course. I mean, all the grass is like dead besides the greens. I think they just spray paint the greens green to make them pop a little bit. So that was good. Trying to think of anything else that was like really notable. I don't think we had any travel problems.
Oh, I had.
There probably was more. It was 2 full weeks. I'm not remembering specific moments to sit out.
Fair.
Oh, I did have a huge blunder on New Year's Eve. I'd like to apologize. I did not realize that Keith Urban was hosting his own show on CBS, and I didn't watch any of it, and I felt really bad. As the self-proclaimed number 1 Keith Urban fan, he was hosting on CBS.
Another phone call for this kid. He never sleeps.
He was hosting on CBS Nashville's Big Bash from like 10:30 to 1:30. And I guess Ryan Seacrest was the one I always go to on ABC, and I watched that. And I wish I would have watched Keith's instead.
Yeah, I watched the Ryan Seacrest one just when I got back from the airport.
What amount of money would you need to be the first person in line in Times Square and stay there all day?
One of my friends here sent me that and said they're talking about this being their fantasy football punishment for last place next year.
That is
the first
good.
person there running up.
Better bring a diaper.
Yeah, I would never do that. I would never do that. Like,
Everyone has
no interest in doing that.
Everyone has a price, though.
What does that benefit you?
Just to be in the mix. What we were talking about, Evan, that sparked that is we were talking about New Year's Eve, how I messed up not watching Keith Urban. But I asked Alex, how much money would you need to be paid to be one of the first people to get to Times Square, to stay in those barricades all day until the ball got? Like, what is
great question, because
what is that money?
As soon as the football game got over with and we turned that over with, and I was like, that is one thing I will honestly never do. Is stand out in Times
no interest
Square.
In that.
It's zero interest.
Like, there's so many better things.
If
you
my
can
best
be doing.
friend,
how much money?
We're all going to New York for Times Square.
How much are you offering? Throw some numbers. I'll tell you yes or no.
Well, what if someone's like,
be the first person? Oh, I would have to be like life changing.
Give me a number, Rand.
let's say for that shift, you're there at 7 a.m., call it until probably 2 a.m. when everything cleared. Oh, 1 a.m. They cleared out fast. So let's say you're 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. shift. I give you $20,000.
No, more.
I mean, that's a good chunk of change for.
I probably would do it for 20,000.
Yeah, you think about a work day, you're just standing there. Yeah, you have to bring a diaper. It's gonna get stinky in there. But like,
yeah, like you can't go to the bathroom.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Diaper 40,000 if I double it for a day of standing.
Definitely do it for 40,000. That's life changing.
20,000, but you supply me some diapers.
Dude wipes.
No. Oh yeah. I'm
full
bringing dude
diapers.
wipes. I'll shit right
$10,000. Let's go the opposite direction. Where does it start to get a little?
I don't think that's enough.
I would consider
that changes your life for like 45 seconds, and then that you use it to pay something.
Couple
off
payments and boom, you're back to 20,000. You get a couple things off.
Yeah, it's a nice down payment. That's something.
How much would you do it for, Grant? $20?
No.
You love shitting yourself.
I would be in like the 10 to 20 grand range. I could probably be swindled into it for 15 grand. That was New Year's Eve. Did make it to the ball drop, though, so proud of myself for that. Didn't really have the desire to.
I made it well past the ball drop, and I was kind of upset with myself.
I did too, but I am central.
I'm so old for this. I don't need to do this again.
I hit that next wave where I was like, now I'm not as tired as I was like 2 hours ago, and I wish I was actually asleep.
I hit a wave.
But at the same time, there's nothing to do.
Got more drunk.
I wanted to go to Dave & Buster's. That was my plan, but there was like Marissa's friends that live around here. Like, no, everyone already had plans because we were in Auburn. I was like, well, let's go to Dave & Buster's. I would do that for like 3 hours and then see the ball drop. It was
just the two of you on New Year's Eve?
Mm-hmm. We went out to a dinner at like 8:30 because they didn't have reservations till then. So it worked out because by the time we got back, it was close to like 11.
That's when you called me.
Yeah, probably when we got back. All right. I guess that is a long recap. We're into sports. I kind of forgot about Pookies and Dookies until I sent the thing. I did write down just like one for each. Anyone would like to go first, or do you want me to start us off?
College football playoff so far.
Could be that. Could be. Oh, we were saying in general, the whole thing.
Well, cream of the crop always rises to the top. Did we ever think?
I'm just saying, like 12 might be too many. Let's overreact.
Well, the next thing they're going to do is just make it to 16. So does it really matter?
Let's overreact.
8 seems right.
It's the first year. Everything's going to settle. Tennessee was
SEC
never winning
bad.
a national
That should be
championship.
a Dookie.
It should be a Pookie, actually.
I want Grant to apologize.
I guess we can do that now. We don't have to wait.
On this show, hit us.
Yeah. Okay, but don't let me forget about the 12 team because I had a thought about that. They came in first, but then you got an SEC. I was wrong. The one show we had where I don't know who I was necessarily discrediting. It was probably at the time when Tennessee looked really good. And I was still saying
Notre Dame when I said they were good several times.
I remember discrediting Ohio State.
Both of you discredited Notre Dame because I said they were good because they were blowing teams out.
I don't remember talking about Notre Dame.
I never discredited Notre Dame.
Because I put them in my rankings higher than you two, and you guys were like, oh. Well,
I just said they hadn't played. I was pointing out
they haven't beaten anyone.
I was pointing out that they hadn't played anyone. Yeah, I did point that out. Because I was using that when people would poop on Indiana before they played each other, and we found out. But yeah, the SEC.
Indiana's better than the SEC.
The SEC, I should not have been as high on. I would say for the last 2 years of college football, they haven't really had any sort of argument to be deemed the best conference in the country. While I'm saying that, you also have your head in the sand if you didn't acknowledge the previous 15 years of evidence that.
Are you apologizing or?
I am. I'm just painting the full picture because I do think it almost got over the top, at least from what I was seeing, of people saying like the SEC is dead, the SEC is done. The SEC is not going anywhere. They're going to figure all this out and get good. That's why the way I worded it in my text. Yeah, I'm sorry. They're not the best conference in the country. You can't say that anymore. They're not. They have to reclaim that if they want to. Right now, the Big Ten is the best conference in the country. Or like that Midwest pocket of football is playing better ball. I do think it has a lot to do with whatever QB decisions were made in the SEC the last few years. If you just think about the stretch when they were dominating the sport, even going back to Florida, You had the Tim Tebows of the world, the Cam Newtons of the world. Then modern, you get Joe Burrow, you get Tua, you get all these players. I mean, Georgia was the outlier, right? The best quarterback they had was Stetson Bennett in that whole time. But their stranglehold on the sport is no longer, not just with the playoff, but even like, as much as I don't think bowl games matter that much that aren't the playoff, Alabama was an absolute embarrassment to their conference. You can't lose to that Michigan team that, even with Davis Warren, like, not great. Then he gets hurt, and they just threw Alex Orji in for like 2+ quarters of football where they just said, we are not going to throw the ball, and you couldn't come back and win that game. So that is, and same with South Carolina losing to Illinois. Like, South Carolina wanted to be in the playoff. Correct, but they did punk them. They beat them. So yeah, the SEC, sorry for thinking they were better. They're not. And Notre Dame was definitely the jarring over the tipping point part for me. And I don't even think if Carson Beck played, it would have made that much of a difference. Too.
So
yeah, they're a unique case because they are in the SEC. I'm not stupid, but like when I think about the core of the SEC, they're like, they just welcome to the party. So yeah, that's Dookie for the SEC. They're not the best conference. They don't deserve any favors or positive bias going into next year's rankings. They should be set. I mean, they're better than the Big 12. I do think that, top to bottom. That's not a crazy statement. I think they're better than the ACC top to bottom. It's just when it comes to the cream of the crop, I don't think they should be given any benefit of the doubt compared to
I just think the main thing is everyone flipping out about all these 2-loss and 3-loss SEC teams that should have made the playoff. I think now we can say that was just SEC bias. That's all that was, because they did not deserve to be in.
Always be SEC bias because the people that run it is the ESPN, and ESPN owns the SEC.
Certainly is a big storyline, especially I think someone,
always
maybe it was
biased.
Joel Klatt. Yeah, there's always that extra uniqueness to college football because the NFL's not like that.
Nobody will talk about. Nobody's going to mention it.
I feel like that does get talked about a lot. I feel like
but I'm no talking heads on ESPN are going to say it.
No, but the other networks have started.
The committee's definitely not. You're telling me the committee's never been once told, like, hey, you got to favor the SEC solely because ESPN.
I'm not sure they would say it that specifically, but
directed in any way.
There'd be probably subtle things that that's been said.
Even if they aren't directed, just subconsciously from hosting, they broadcast all their games in the primetime spots, and if the AP voters lean SEC, then they inflate the preseason rankings. Like, it just all kind of trickles down. But I have seen
just means more.
I've seen more CBS people. I can't think of his name right now. I'm blanking on it, but he had a long tweet about like calling out ESPN for that. So I feel like, and Joel Klatt's talked about it at length too, about how it's kind of a messy relationship. So I feel like other networks are starting to try to talk about it more, about how it's a weird setup where the network that owns the playoff is in charge of one conference, essentially, which is kind of
the other
messed up.
Networks need to pony up and buy playoff games like the NFL has it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can argue, TNT does it, but TNT used ESPN's broadcasters. So who's really controlling who in that situation? When TNT has people that do multiple sports and would be way better than some of the schmucks that TNT threw out.
Grant, what's your 12-team playoff thought?
I feel like I keep hearing an echo. Maybe I'm just talking too loud. My thought on the playoff is the 12-team can work. 16-team could work as well if they get the seeding right in the auto bids. Because
we also are panicking based off of the first year.
Yeah, but Evan, it is a flawed concept of how the buys and the seeding works. Like, it doesn't make sense.
I don't mind the buys. Like, the buys, I think, like, winning a conference championship should weigh some more weight than not. I just think it'd be an easy fix. Just do it like the NFL does it. Oregon plays the lowest seed remaining.
Oh.
You just reseed every round?
Yes, reseed every week. Boom, that easy. NFL does it.
I don't know how it's so hard for every other league in the world to figure out that the NFL playoffs.
And the NFL does everything correct. How much we hate the NFL and their stupid rules. They don't have a draft lottery, and they reseed in the playoffs. Two of the biggest controversy things that they always do.
Yeah.
That would help the reseed for sure, but I think there still would be some tricky parts because I think unless I'm missing one of the upsets, I think Oregon would still have to play Ohio State if they reseeded, just because in no world should Arizona State and Boise State be ranked ahead of Ohio State based on the 2 seasons we watched. And yes, it's even including the Michigan loss.
I also think they weren't planning on that backfiring on them in the first year to where everybody beats everybody in 2 of the leagues. That they are.
Oregon got so screwed in this deal; it's not even funny.
Yeah, they should have.
Based off that Oregon
look at Penn State.
But
you didn't want to win the Big Ten
team,
title game.
Yeah, if you're that Oregon team.
That's why Ohio State lost to Michigan on purpose.
The way that Oregon came out and played flat and everything, I don't think Oregon would have beat Notre Dame. I don't think Oregon would have beat Penn State.
Yeah, maybe they came out flat.
I don't think Oregon would beat Arizona State. I don't think Oregon would beat Texas.
They would beat Texas.
I think they would have beat. I think they would have beat the other teams. Ohio State's a wagon right now.
Ohio State is just a problem.
Yes, they did play their worst game probably of the year.
Correct. Ohio State played their best game of the year, topped it off, and Oregon
Ohio
played
State
the worst
after
game.
They lost has turned on another level that we all thought they would be all year.
It's stupid because they lost to Michigan, and Ryan Day and Chip Kelly realized this isn't
time is called.
It's not 18-20.
For that,
we can throw the ball forward.
And they have the best receiver player in the country.
They have Julio Jones on their team. That's who he's comparing to. They have Julio Jones.
He
we
looks
grew up
built
with
like
Julio Jones.
Andre Johnson, any big athletic dude you want to talk about, he looks just like him. Built.
If Jeremiah Smith was in the draft this year, he'd be the number 1 overall pick. Just get that through your head.
Yeah.
I have a question, too, for you guys. I was seeing all over TikTok, all over Twitter.
All right, lay it on me.
Okay, it's about Jeremiah Smith. So think of your guys' peak athletic performance. What year? Alex, just how old? Just think of that in your head.
Of my life?
If you're in your life, your peak athletic performance. Okay? How young was Jeremiah Smith when he passed your peak athletic performance?
I'm not sure.
He probably did something at age 12 that was more impressive than anything I've ever done.
He passed my peak athletic performance at age 11. 10 or 11.
And what age was your peak? I think my peak is around the last 2 to 3 years.
I've got.
He's probably doing
golf's a tricky one. That might be a loophole for Alex.
Ball sports.
Yeah, he's
Alex,
not better
ball
than me
sports.
at golf. Yeah, he's probably better than me at everything at age 12, 11.
At age 12, he's better than me at probably basketball and football.
Yeah, I said everything. So besides golf, I wasn't bad at volleyball. Maybe I'd be better.
How old are you when you're 7 years? No, I was going to say 7th grade.
You'd be 7.
I read it wrong. I meant 7th grade. It wasn't 7th grade. It was 7-year-old. He got cut from his 7-year-old flag football team. Jeremiah Smith.
Okay.
7-year-old.
So,
there's context to that. Is he 5 and 6 trying out for the 7-year-old team?
Just tell me what age he got to.
And why are there cuts in a 7-year-old flag football team?
Miami different. They said no.
Whatever age he got to, 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot, anytime around then, that's when he.
So middle school,
sure
probably.
Than everything, because I'm 6 foot, so, and that's my peak. I was too small to ever be good at anything before that, so.
Yeah, when he was 12, he was more athletic than me for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's going to dispute that. We shouldn't feel bad about ourselves because it's the same for everyone.
No, he's awesome. So I think 12-16 team would work. They just got to seed it right. I don't automatic buys.
I think 8.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not going to argue on it. I'm just saying 12 would easily work if you just ranked them normal and you gave automatic bids to conference winners, because Idaho or Boise State versus Indiana, that would have been an intriguing first round matchup that I would like to see those two teams. Who was better between the best team in the Mountain West and the 4th best team in the Big Ten? We just didn't get that because of the way they seeded. But those first round games would have been much more intriguing. The way they did it this year screwed 2 weeks in a row because you got the blowouts that didn't need to happen in the first week, and that set teams up to get blown out in the second week as well. If they just had done it down the line, we would have had a better product. But it's definitely clear to me that through 1 year, I'm willing to say this is a better format overall for picking a true national champion, because I think maybe Alex, you would floated out about going back to the BCS. I found it was interesting to say though that the BCS this year would have been Georgia versus Oregon. And both those
Yeah.
teams got absolutely dummied in their first games in the playoff. So I do like the idea of including more teams at the table to see who truly is.
Well, why not just use BCS for 8 teams or 12 teams or whatever you want to do?
I
Then you
would
get
use
rid
the
of
BCS more
human
for.
bias out.
I would add a little bit more BCS to some rankings because
Or at least have that as a component.
Correct.
That's
I still
fine.
don't get how we're in 2025 and we just use. Oh, we trust these 12 people's opinions, and there's no transcript of what is said in these rooms.
Let's let America vote.
I think they use the same metric. They probably have the BCS formula and they look at it. They just
I
don't
don't
publicly
think they
tell
do.
us that.
You think
Why not
Warmania
just
is
be
doing
like-
that? You think Warmania is using math?
Why don't you just let your 12
He
people
tells the other people to do math.
your 12 people places their votes for whatever, and then the BCS does theirs 50-50. You combine them, you get your like Psalms composite average or whatever.
America decides the fan
And then,
vote.
no, there's no fan vote.
I mean, I kind of
Yeah.
like
Fan.
what Alex. I think you hinted at it in one of the group chats of quad wins, net rankings.
Oh, not college basketball.
Now, Evan, the net rankings make no sense.
Correct.
At all. I, don't
I
know how
can't
they
do
work.
it. Don't get me
Michigan's like
started.
number 9 in the country.
Okay,
in
but
the
like
rankings,
some
right?
Watch your
some
mouth.
quad
Stop.
instead of top 25 wins, because to say, oh, we beat somebody a top 25 win, and then they turn into 3-7 on the year, but we beat them in week 2. It's not a top 25 win. But people
Agreed.
still hold
That's
that
terrible,
from a
terrible
fact.
logic.
But like in college basketball, your wins
It's always
fluctuate
changing.
throughout the year.
You know what's also stupid about top 25 wins? I don't stop me if this is the point you just said, but that they count them like hard and fast. So it's like you had 4 top 25 wins this year. This team had 2. But that second team could have beat the 26th ranked team, the 27th ranked team in their model. They just don't count it as a top 25 win
True.
because they're not like those teams 15 through 30 in college football are not that different.
I agree
There's like
with that.
a big jump when you get to like the top 10 range. But like if I beat team 30, but you're not going to reward it as a top 25 win because they're 30 in your ranking, that's just where you start to lose.
That's
It's like,
why college basketball, a home win against a top 30 team is a quad 1 win.
That's why valuing
But
winning
an
on the
away
winning
win-
on the road is valued
It's
more.
like top 60. That's a quad 1 win on the road. So maybe
they
basketball
got a lot of work to do. There's another problem too. They got to figure out the whole schedule of college football has to be completely fixed. Maybe that's a
I
separate
like the quad rankings. I do.
off season. I'd be down with that. Just
It has
better.
to be correct how they do it. Can't be just no one knows what it means. But anyways, continue.
We need a Ken Palm for college football.
Yes, Ken Palm's the greatest thing ever made. I mean,
Well,
Ken Palm is legit.
There's
Uh,
enough stats. in it.
nasal spray
There's enough stats.
and air conditioning.
Nasal spray and Ken Palm.
Ice,
That's it.
ice machine,
Ice machine.
ice cube maker, ice machine, whatever you want to use. That's up there.
A Ninja Creamy.
Dude wipes up there.
DQ Blizzard. Shout out Cody. Culver's. Oh.
You know what's a problem too with this? They got to.
top 5 creation of all time.
I think they're going to have to figure out a way to play more of these games on campus. Because I was thinking about, there's been a lot of talk about the college football playoff and the ticket prices and how they aren't. Transparency too. I was kind of pissed. I was looking at Rose Bowl tickets because I'm addicted to that game. They were like $800 cheaper than last year when we went, which kind of makes sense, but it's still a playoff game. The problem that they're going to have for all these fan bases, think about, put yourself in a, Michigan State makes the playoff, or you can pretend you're a Penn State fan this year. You could go to the home playoff game on campus. If your student is over winter break, you probably come back if you really want to go. But then like if you wanted to go to a game, you just have to pick one. You can't watch your team at multiple stops, and eventually you're going to run out of fans that can like afford to go all these games because you got to go to Miami, then you got to go to Texas, then you got to go to Atlanta. It's like we're just turning college football into a very commercialized product for 4 weeks in a row. Yes, Alex.
A guy at work, Penn State fan, he went to the home game. He went to the last game, and he's going to the game this week. So,
Well,
Money bags.
and time off. I mean, because you think about it, you got to get flights, tickets, hotels.
well, he drove to Happy Valley from Houston, Texas. So,
All right. Well, I don't.
not
think
everybody has 3 weeks off.
I don't
He
think
drove.
that this setup they have for the college football playoff is not sustainable for like the fan bases that you would like to have at these games. You just can't.
I
just
guess
can't
that's a
do it.
great point. How do these fans keep going?
You can't.
Like, how many fans do you have to make sure you fill your allotment every single game?
Like there was a
can afford.
point someone made about Texas. I don't know if you guys saw this, but when I watched the game on TV, I was like, damn, there are a lot of Arizona State fans at the Peach Bowl, which makes sense. The Texas fans punted on that game, assuming they would win, and they're going to try to pack Jerry World, is what their thought was. Because, like, we're not going to fly and go to the Peach Bowl when we can just wait and hopefully get that.
Peach Bowl, and plus we were just there for the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus your conference championship game for some of these teams. I mean, Jesus.
Penn State, conference championship
watch a lot of games on TV.
Texas potentially is going to be in Mercedes-Benz if they were to win 3 times in the last 3 weeks. He's just, or 4 weeks, whatever it is, you know. It's just silly. They got to figure out the schedule. I like Joel Klatt's theory. I don't think they can ever pull it off, but he would love the season to end every year on January 1st at the Rose Bowl. That'd be the permanent national title spot, which
that would be
I would sign up for.
Incredible.
I just don't know how they ever do that. And then like everything, he's got a great podcast about it. I'm not gonna steal his bits because like, you could just brand everything as like the run for the roses and everything's about the Rose Bowl.
That's good.
And that's the title.
Good.
January 1st.
Best place to play a football game anyways.
Midday, end it there every year. But they wouldn't be able to start the season early enough to do January 1st. It goes to January 20th right now, and they still haven't figured it out.
Yeah, because then you could start 3 weeks. You could start like first week of August.
You can't do that. That feels dirty. I can't have football in the start of August. I still need to be around Labor Day.
Why? We're ready for it then. We're all wanting it right at August 1st.
That feels wrong.
The second camp start, we're like, yes, I'm ready for football now.
And then you can do transfer portal right after all, like the 2 weeks in January. It fits the academic calendar. He had a good proposal. I liked it. I was like, that would be sick with me. I would do it.
It can't happen though because everything's driven by money
and academic calendars for these student athletes.
These kids are not students anymore, from what I've been hearing.
No shit. But that's the dumbest thing about college sports is that's the reason the transfer portal is when it is during the playoffs is because they have to be ready for spring semester. Like, who gives a shit?
You take it online.
No, that's why.
You take
that's
online
why.
classes
What
nowadays.
other sport has free agency
Dude, these are
during their
professional
playoffs?
athletes now.
I'm just saying when you ask someone why there's free agency during the playoffs, that's why. Because of spring semester.
I have some hot takes, but maybe I'll save it for another day. I have not been a fan of this college football season at all. It has not transpired the way I thought it would when I got excited.
We got the
about
upsets,
how it's
Alex.
all working. It's been ass. This whole year's been ass.
So you like dynasties?
I thought the playoff made the regular season better.
I thought the regular season was not good.
No, I think the playoff made the regular season better. More impactful games throughout the entire year.
Yeah, like Alabama, LSU, they both had 2 losses, but that game meant a lot. Where in the past years, it'd be like,
When they already had
they
2
were not
losses,
going to make
it
the
would've
Final
been-
Four.
it'd be out.
Maybe it's because I don't like the teams that are all good. Maybe that's the problem.
I hate the Final Four. Besides
like
Texas,
the teams that are in there is just not what I wanted at all. I mean, Evan's a closet Ohio State fan, so it's happy for him.
The
but
Final Four does not bother me. I'm a closet Notre Dame.
I don't mind.
you really are. You have 3 teams in the finals.
I mean, Evan, we have 3 of those teams are teams we play on a regular basis. 2 of them we play for a
I
trophy.
compare
game.
myself to them directly.
Like,
It sucks to watch them be that
You
good.
can't. Like
No, he
3
is.
of the 4
Those
teams
programs are going to get a lot of
are
recruits over the next couple of
regulars.
years because of it.
and now we're not
we
going
don't
to
have
get
to play them
any of
every
those.
single year. We don't have to play Penn State and Ohio State every year.
I hate
Notre
that
Dame's
too.
back on the schedule soon too.
Correct. 2 years from now. Technically a year from now. Depends how you're looking at it.
Maybe that's part of the problem.
I'm already sick of the 18
Well, I didn't
team
think
conference.
of that, Alex, that we do Michigan State
The
does
conference
play.
realignment, I hate it. I absolutely despise it. Can't stand it. The whole conference thing ruined everything.
Well, if it's-
I've been mad about that since it happened, though.
Would your opinion on the playoff change if they kept the 12-team playoff and it was still a conference realignment? There was no conference realignment? So Oregon
I
was
probably
just
would like
if
it.
Oregon was the Pac-12 champion
Yes.
and the 1 seed, Ohio
Yes.
State was...
Yeah, I would love it.
And be
way
like,
more.
oh, the Big Ten just shit on the Pac-12 champion.
I hate that Oregon is in the Big Ten. I hate that all those Pac-12 schools are in the Big Ten. I think it's weird that Texas and Oklahoma are in the SEC. I hate all of that.
I just don't like that.
I'll never get over that.
I don't like that. I don't get to play Penn State every year. I don't like that you guys don't get to play Ohio State every
Yes.
year. I would like to.
Schedules
I like
are
to myself to the teams in my region, and then like everything, because college football, the playoff is
Sucks.
sick. But like college football is about playing that one school in your region that you don't like every year.
Every year.
And compare
I love
yourself
that.
to them. Like, how do I stack up
Rivalries.
versus Penn State? how do I stack up versus Illinois every year? I don't care how I stack up versus UCLA. I don't give a shit about UCLA. Like, it's
super dumb.
That's the tough part about, I think. But
ruined everything.
The playoff does have potential. I like the idea. It might
have ruined college football for me forever. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but I'm very upset with how it all went down. The conference realignment thing's so dumb.
You watch the NFL product for professional athletes to sit out. Unbelievable.
Evan, the Lions are 15-2. I'm loving the NFL season, of course.
But there's more than just the Lions, Alex.
No, there isn't.
Well, then there's nothing more to the playoff than Michigan State. We're not in it, so we can't have to talk. We don't have to talk about it.
If Michigan State was in the playoff, I would enjoy the season significantly more.
Yeah, 100%.
But I hate conference realignment. I really do.
Let's give our
How do we get it back to normal?
Well, Northern Illinois just left for the Mountain West. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, I saw that. It's another joke.
That one really spun my head around. I didn't understand that at all.
Significant revenue increase.
It will come back, Alex, because everything's driven by money, and they're going to realize it will. Just like, not to go big picture, but
it needs to.
It's what happening right now with our TV service. I'm going to try to keep it brief because we're already an hour 15 in and we have to talk about the Lions. So I'll put timestamps. You can skip past these people if you don't want to listen. But back in the day, we all had DirecTV and cable, and everyone was like, oh, this is sweet, everything in one spot. And they're like, oh, this is too expensive. We need to break these all up into Netflix and Hulu and YouTube TV. And now people are like, shit, there's so many streaming options. I would like everything back in one place that I can watch everything. And that's what's going to happen with college football. It's going to be the same exact thing.
Like, I see like old documentaries about college football, and I was watching like
the Southwest Conference. I love the Pony Express. I didn't even know that existed. I would love the Southwest Conference. That's
a great point. But no, I was watching
non-ball knower for that era. Football.
I was watching NFL Network before I played golf. It was like early in the morning. They don't have anything on.
Steve Mariucci.
They had like one of those like a football life on. You ever watch those?
Oh, fantastic! They're very well done.
But it was, I think it was like USC Texas, like that game, and like Vince Young, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart. It's like NFL careers.
You're also talking about the best college football game of all time.
Yeah, it tainted it for sure.
At the best setting in all of sports.
But I was just watching that back and just thinking about it as a kid and how much, the pageantry, the conferences, the USC was sick, but they were in the Pac-12 all on their own, or Pac-10, I guess.
It's a rinse and repeat, though, Alex.
Dude, I need it back.
Okay, but
that was the best.
We are the same people 20, 30 years ago that bitched and complained about the BCS, and that was like, no, the Rose Bowl's always got to be a Big Ten and Pac-12 team, and then USC and Texas won a national championship at the Rose Bowl. So,
well, I'm not saying go back to 2000, but I'm saying go back to 2000.
And there's also a time before that when there wasn't a true national championship game. It was just the bowl games, and then whoever was ranked highest at the end based off of the AP, like people still wanted that.
Why can't you just do 2013, but with an expanded playoff? Do that. Give me back to that.
Let us be commissioners. We'll figure it out.
Nick Saban's about to be commissioner.
I know I was a little dramatic about the Rose Bowl at the end of the Peach Bowl game, because the Peach Bowl was sick, and especially if I knew how bad Ohio State was going to dust Oregon, I wouldn't have been like, hey guys, the Rose Bowl's starting, this is a problem. But the fact that the RoseWl is a quarterfinal game is bullshit. There's no world.
Always gonna be close. You blame the Rose Bowl.
Like, I was thinking,
we're on January 1st, no matter what.
I actually felt bad for Ryan Day. Big of me to feel bad for him. In that moment, they were on stage. I'm like, they have to enjoy this for like 10 hours. And then they have to go and play and get ready for the next game. I know Michigan had to go win the title as well, but like, there should not be like much more left to do in a season if you win the Rose Bowl. That is like the biggest game in college football, the best like setting, everything. That should be the pinnacle. So that's the one thing I would.
The peak of my college football fandom, 2013 Rose Bowl. The 100th Rose Bowl.
It just doesn't get better than that. It's got to be the pinnacle of the sport.
I could watch that every night.
You should.
It's so good. I probably will watch it later.
I've watched highlights of the Ohio State-Oregon game just because I want to see more of that setting. And that game sucked.
Oregon's band stayed at our hotel. Fun fact.
Quite.
So did the Cardinals.
Let's do predictions before we do Lions talk. So we got a game Thursday night and a game Friday night. I don't know the order off the top of my head.
Notre Dame,
I think Ohio State
Penn State
is Friday.
are Thursday, correct. We're on the same page. Said opposite games, Grant.
Let me guess. Does anyone have Texas winning?
No.
They're only 5-point underdogs. Less than...
I think we know where this is coming from because I hate Ohio State and I really don't want to see them keep winning. There's a sick part of me that thinks Texas does the funniest thing and does hit
all
their,
of a sudden becomes
game.
what they're supposed to be.
I do. I just have this weird feeling.
Minus 125 to win the national championship right now, currently.
That's insane.
The next closest is Notre Dame. They're plus 425.
What is Texas?
Texas is plus 475.
I might put a couple dollars on that and go full hook 'em because this is the only team I want to win. I hate all these teams. We were doing the hypothetical. I think Ben V asked, it was originally Ohio State, Penn State. Like, if you're a Michigan fan,
I said,
who would you rather win, Ohio State or Penn State? And now we have to add Notre Dame to the mix because they beat Georgia. Because he asked it before that game.
Well,
Penn State, dude,
Grant. Hypothetically, though, you're looking at the Final Four. What team replaces it, this Final Four, and makes it that much better?
Oregon and Georgia. I don't hate it nearly as much.
Just because.
Penn State.
I hate Notre Dame.
Oh, I hate Penn State, every single thing. But as soon as the bracket came out, we all looked at it and was like, yeah, Penn State's basically in the Final Four.
Yeah. We knew it.
They played
Notre
SMU
Dame
and Boise State.
Notre Dame is basically Michigan, just in Indiana, so I understand the hypocrisy of the fan base and all that, but like they're basically Michigan. They're just a private school.
This is basically Michigan as well.
Since 1989, 88.
And their fan base, most of their fan base never went to Notre Dame. That's like the whole thing of Michigan as well.
Private school.
Yeah, they're all
it's
just
one of the smallest universities.
Notre Dame and Yankee fans are like the same thing.
Well, they are
just Yankees fans.
People.
Yeah. So I hate them.
They're also LeBron and Laker fans.
If you have to take Texas out of it, and I had to pick from one of those three demons, I would like it to go like this. I would like Ohio State to beat Texas, Penn State to beat Notre Dame, and for Penn State to beat Ohio State, because I think that would be the funniest thing.
James Franklin winning a national championship, I'll pass.
I agree with that.
No, Grant,
Penn State's number one.
You would
cannot
have to
win.
let Notre Dame win it because you could just say, well, Notre Dame is not in our conference.
Notre Dame's the one that I would.
No, It would be so funny to watch Franklin beat Ohio State in that spot. For me,
it'd be terrible.
For me,
Penn State fans are worse.
Penn State fans are idiotic.
At least they went there. In the Notre Dame case,
it's probably.
I can't talk.
Alumni.
I didn't go to Michigan, but I'm just saying. I don't know if it's blind hope. I do think Texas is a live dog in this game. I think their defense and their secondary specifically is good enough to weather a storm. The must bet thing, I know they've juiced it to like minus 125, but Jeremiah Smith is going to keep scoring touchdowns, so I probably will put my whole account on Jeremiah Smith to score a touchdown and won't bet the side. I do love that kid, even though he's a Buckeye. I have to respect greatness. He's one of the best receivers I've ever seen in my life. He will score a touchdown.
Okay, let's bring up Skip Bayless again since he's in the spotlight. See how idiotic he was talking about Jeremiah Smith during the Rose Bowl?
I did not.
He basically came out with a tweet saying how talented he is, and then how, of course, he only shows up in the primetime games when he hasn't done anything all year.
He had a lot of yards throughout the entire year.
And if you looked at the comments in this section, was screenshots of his whole season and his touchdown in basically every single game at 100 yards.
Yeah, they just didn't play anyone that big, so they just didn't.
Oh, Michigan State's not that big? Come on. That was a primetime game, Grant. Never forget.
I did watch that. That's true. So you guys got Ohio State. Do you think Ohio State routes them? You think they cover it pretty easy? They went by 10?
I think they route both games and cruise to a national championship in the biggest
looking ahead,
Ryan Day moment of all time.
I think
so. Basically, 2019 LSU. You think they're on a 2019 LSU? Just doesn't matter who they play tour.
I think Notre Dame could muck it up a little bit if they played them in the national championship.
Again, I
wouldn't mind seeing Ohio State, Notre Dame in it.
Ohio State, Penn State would be disgusting. Disgusting. Did you know how bad those games have been the last 3 years?
But this one would be indoors on turf.
Ohio State and Penn State, the last time they played, Penn State didn't score an offensive touchdown.
Yeah, it'd be disgusting to watch. Ohio State would probably kill them.
They were up 10-0 and blew it.
Didn't score an offensive touchdown.
Ohio State Notre Dame would be a cool looking national championship from
you get tradition,
pageantry, uniform tradition perspective.
Notre Dame would be better. Penn State's uniforms are dog
I'm saying Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Okay. All right.
Penn State. care.
Penn State's uniforms are
Okay,
awful.
but Notre Dame, Ohio State, both teams need to wear their homes in the national championship.
Oh, that would be too much. For
Blue and red. Come on.
No, it'd be Ohio
USC
State
and
would wear
UCLA
white.
play. They wear both home.
I think I would want Ohio State in the reds, Notre Dame in the whites, because they still got the gold helmets. It's all that matters. Those gold domers are beautiful.
Evan, you're Will Howard, probably one of the number one fans on the planet. Are you worried that he's played flawlessly the first two games? Do you think, because if they don't win the title, it's him. He does something like the Michigan game where it's not his best. Are you worried that that's going to come out?
I don't think so.
You think he's hit another gear?
I think they have a formula right now, and I think he's playing well enough to where he just has to manage the game.
Yeah,
I don't see him. Obviously, I see him throwing an interception, whatever. And
against Texas, Makuba.
I don't see him throwing a pick against Texas. Maybe Penn State or Notre Dame.
Dude, they're going to kill Texas. I really think that.
I don't know. I think it's too easy. But it might, if they are the buzzsaw, like the 2019 LSU team, then yeah.
Well,
there's
Texas has done the same thing.
The comes out as like this offensive guru, but at the end of regulation in almost every single big game, he has 20-some points.
Well, what they've done the last two games is they start pretty high. It looks like it's going to be over.
Yeah, but they score off
and then they just
punt. That was it.
Yeah.
They just slowly turd themselves the entire second half until it's like you wake up and it's tied, which most
Texas
people probably
needs the
woke up
ball,
from a nap.
And they need to score on the Sarge scripted drive because their scripted drives are nasty. They need to score on that, and they just need to like muck it up. And then somehow, for some reason, Quinn Ewers plays better when his back's up against the wall. Like the middle of the game, like you said, Alex, he's just nothing. He does nothing.
They don't care. Seems like
and then when it's fourth and 13 with the season on the line, he drops in a bucket. It's like, okay, we're good.
It's like
holes blew me away.
And then the Gunnar Helm one after stepped up in the pocket.
Next play, just threw
holes 5 through 13 in the middle of the game. Like they don't care about the golf round, and then next thing you know, they're teeing off on 16. They're like, oh shit, others only have a couple holes left.
Yeah. So it's just weird. So maybe, yes, based on those two results, they're just kind of sleepwalking. They might wake up for this game. I don't know.
Outside of...
Honestly, it's better.
Arizona State did come back with their points. That was a crazy game.
Last game.
I mean, Arizona State had to do some fluky shit to get back in that.
I wanted to say I think Texas's defense outside of like Michigan's front was maybe the toughest test that Ohio State has faced.
Ohio State was basically running like a cover 3, cover 4 cloud coverage and literally like get your ass back deep. And then everybody else underneath, spy, they had a spy basically on every single time, and then just a soft coverage, cloud coverage underneath too. And then let the big dogs eat up front.
Cloud coverage sounds so nice. It also didn't help that Oregon had a receiver out, Evan Stewart, that we didn't even know about. And he's just like, yeah, I'm not playing because I got hurt in warmups or whatever. It's like, okay, sweet. Glad I bet Oregon without knowing that.
I bet the over and won good money on that. I'm happy.
Smart. Fast turf. Fast track, not turf. Next one, Notre Dame, Penn State.
Notre Dame.
Big injury stuff with this one. I know Abdul Carter is like the big question mark.
Jeremiah Love's banged up too.
Jeremiah Love's been banged up.
Sick.
I think Notre Dame, just because the coaching job that Freeman and his staff did impressed me so much against Georgia that I think that's going to be even greater disparity versus James Franklin. And I've talked before, the Kolonecki, the offensive coordinator, I rewatched some of that Fiesta Bowl because I missed the first half at dinner on New Year's Eve.
So terrible.
He just overthought himself 1,000 times and thought they needed to throw the ball. And they could just run with Singleton
Franklin
and Allen.
Is the head coach. They're always going to overthink. They're always going to do something stupid.
I can't wait for them to run like a fake field goal from like the 52-yard line.
They're up 14-0 like before you even blink, before you even sat down, get comfortable in your chair.
They just do dumb shit.
Boise State, 21, maybe it was 21, 24, 20. They scored a touchdown to get within 3 points and got called back because their right tackle had illegal hands to the face. So that game is like a one-play difference for like the fourth quarter outcome.
Penn State will probably throw the ball from the 1-yard line 4 times at some point in this game.
They run play action pass on the goal line because they don't know how to run just a basic like run play. They have to get cute on the red zone like Grant's talking about.
I think I would This game's going to be boring as shit.
But Penn State doesn't have any skill guys. You have
it's going to
nobody
be
that's
13-10.
I was about to say that. I think Notre Dame wins 13-10.
I said the same thing for the Georgia Notre Dame game. It's going to be a low scoring.
That game was
Bet
terrible.
the under. But Sean McDonough was calling that game, Alex. It wasn't that bad.
It was so boring.
Take out the 7-point.
Rutledge on the sidelines? Come on. Who's your eyes in?
Stars are out. The Sugar Bowl. Yeah, take out the special teams touchdown, and I think you get like a 13-10 game here. Notre Dame, I'll go with just
I'll go with Notre Dame.
for the sake of it. Although Drew Heller did have some sick throws in the Fiesta Bowl.
He's not
Caught
bad.
my eye. No, he's not. Yeah, we'll see. But Ryan Leonard has moxie. That guy just tucks and doesn't give a shit who hits him. He just goes.
They wouldn't let him on the... Oh, no, they wouldn't let Will Howard on the stage at the Rose Bowl.
That was funny. That made me laugh.
9-year-old guy just brush him off the way and say, I'm coming up.
You gotta be
I don't know who you are.
the offensive lineman who didn't get down. That's a selfish teammate. You gotta get off the stage with the weight limit to let your quarterback up.
Yeah, I can't believe he just wasn't up there.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Poor guy.
All right, that's college football. Starting now, shift to the Lions. You're 15-2, Detroit Lions. Couple stats here just to put it all in context. Hard to wrap your brain around it. Well, based on the hype and the stats of this game, I would say we are officially the winners of the biggest regular season game in NFL history. The way they talked about it, first time anyone's ever been both teams 14 wins in the history of the NFL, with all the stakes that were on the line in the last game of the year, game 272. We're the 9th team in NFL history to win 15 games in an NFL regular season. That's pretty rare air.
17 games.
Funny enough, one other team did it this year, the Chiefs. So we had company. We weren't even the only team to do it this year. Next one, we swept the North for the first time ever in franchise history. Had never gone 6-0 versus the NFC North in a season. We now have done that. Evan?
Trivia question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What two teams went 1-5 in the NFC North this year?
Packers, Bears.
Good, Alex. 100%. Packers and Bears 1-5 in their own division.
I sent that stat.
I don't know. I saw it last night or Sunday afternoon after the Bears won. I just had to get that.
Evan's Packers hate came out.
I just like stirring the pot against our biggest person that probably took it personally.
I started to feel bad for the Packers at one point.
I did.
No.
Get riled up on a Sunday afternoon when all the football games were duds.
When Jordan Love got hurt, I was like, "Ooh, that's really bad." I would be spiraling if that was Jared Goff in that situation. So we had that. We won the division back to back for the first time ever in franchise history.
We've only won it twice. The NFC North twice.
First time the Lions were the 1 seed since 1950s.
But like even going back to the Central, did we ever win it back to back? Probably not.
No. But we've also only won the NFC North specifically twice. So, of course, it's back-to-back.
Okay, Alex doesn't like that stat. I liked it. I thought that was cool. And first time ever being the number 1 seed in franchise history.
Pretty surprising.
First time ever after a regular season that we've been the best team in the NFC.
Were a 1 seed before us.
Cam Newton.
Correct.
They made the Super Bowl.
Let's see. What was going to be my first question?
I'd like to say something first, Grant. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
This whole week, I was kind of in the mindset of like, not a big game. It is a big game. Not a big game. Doesn't really matter. We're still in the playoffs. I trust this team. And then Sunday morning hit. And you start watching all the pre-games. And all they're talking about is the Lions-Vikings game and incentive bonus, basically. That's all they're talking about.
Yeah, basically.
And then they start throwing up the stats of the difference between a 1 seed and a 5 seed. Of all, like, it's 49 1 seeds have made it to the Super Bowl. Last 25 winners of the last whatever were 1 seeds. There's only been 5 seeds to ever make it to the Super Bowl. Then that puts in perspective of like how actually important the 1 seed is. Teams hardly ever go on the road and win 3 games in a row. 3 of the teams have done it. 2 of them, 1 loss in the Super Bowl. So, do you put that in perspective how actually important it is? You have some fake fans or some fair weather Vikings fans who are like, oh, we're still in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. However, history would say that win is arguably more important than your first playoff win, just due to the fact of how the Super Bowl pans out for some of these teams.
You could say with the bye week, it basically is. I mean, that was a playoff game.
Yeah.
Just unofficially.
Another Lions stat, we scored the second most touchdowns in NFL history.
In a season?
Yep, behind the Broncos with Peyton Manning and Wes Welker. They threw that stat up on the broadcast late last night.
Fourth most points by a team in NFL history in a season. Because I had I was going to pivot off of that because that was one of my points. We're not getting doom and gloom. I just thought I wanted to see like who the other teams that we were compared to, and they're all like teams in the 2000s that you'd expect because of the offenses. But it was a little disheartening that none of the teams that were around us ever won a Super Bowl. They all lost in the playoffs at some point. They had the best offenses ever. But I was like, we'll buck that trend. We'll be fine.
Just trying to get to the Super Bowl.
2013 Broncos, they lost to the Seahawks 43-8.
Let's just get to the Super Bowl.
07 Patriots lost to the Giants 17-14 in the Super Bowl. The 2018 Chiefs lost to the New England Patriots 37-31 in the AFC Championship game.
That can't happen.
That was the offsides, but yeah, it was the offsides game.
The 2011 Packers lost to the Giants 37-20 in the 2011 divisional game. These are the teams below us.
Rodgers documentary.
The 2012 New England Patriots lost to the Ravens 28-13 in the championship game.
Joe Flacco.
And the 1998 Vikings lost to the Falcons 30-27 in the NFC Championship game.
Jerry Anderson.
Yeah. So, tough. I had to go back a ways to find one of the teams that actually won a Super Bowl. I had to go quite far to find a team that won a Super Bowl. But I'm not going to let that deter us. We're fine. Doesn't matter. Those things don't matter for this team. What were you going to say, Alex?
I was just going to say that if we would have lost to the Vikings, we would have been the greatest wild card team statistically of all time with the highest point differential ever.
Plus 222.
And then
crazy.
I saw a bunch of stats. It was like the 5 other teams that had a similar point differential or whatever, they made the Super Bowl from the wild card spot.
It's also crazy perspective. I saw a tweet last night that last year's 1 seed, the 49ers in the NFC, had 12 wins. Is that factual?
We had
maybe.
Well, we had
no. Did they win the tiebreaker over us? We had 12. We were 12-5.
We had 13, I think.
I don't know.
Either way,
somewhere around there.
Took 15 games to clinch.
To clinch a 1 seed. And that was the first game since 1993 where the last game of the year between 2 divisional opponents was for a 1 seed or wild card. Giants, Jimmy Johnson, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith versus the Cowboys, Giants. Yes, I said that right.
Yeah, I think I wasn't trying to be doomsday or like puddling before the game. But I know like in our group chat, I just shifted the tone a little bit because I don't know how it started, but it was
shifted it to very like.
I was just trying
This is the biggest game of our lives.
I was trying to
feel.
Yeah, it was bigger. I tweeted out it was bigger than the Bucs divisional game.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It's the 3rd biggest game in the Dan Campbell era, which you could argue is probably our entire lives. I know like the Stafford playoff games were still intense, but I don't think I realized what a true contending team looked like really until further on in life. But yeah, I was just trying to get the point, probably basically the percentages that Evan was talking about. I didn't know those numbers. I just knew that those teams that we've seen, because we have been kind of lucky. I think a couple of the teams that have done that wild card run have been in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Those teams had sick defenses. And that is what truly travels over everything in the NFL and in football. And I just knew with our injuries that team, as much as I love them and as much as our offense is historic, I didn't think they were going to win 3 road games in a row to go to the Super Bowl.
But it turns out with Alex Anzalone, the defense is
maybe it didn't matter either way.
With Robertson, Darrelle Revis in his prime, and we're legit on defense again.
It was a great breakdown. Our boy Dan Orlowski on
your boy.
Yeah, your boy. Your man's.
Get Up this morning.
Not really
of what we truly did to the Vikings. Man coverage, but
Look at
bracket coverage on Jordan Addison most of the time on the inside and outside coverage, and then bracket coverage on Justin Jefferson, safety over top and underneath coverage. So whoever was on Justin Jefferson always had help over the top, and whoever was on Jordan Addison, based off of their alignment and their call, that play either had help to the inside or outside.
And then put Hawk on an island with Anzalone and let him cook.
Put Hawk on an island with the linebackers and Anzalone, put him in a body bag, and then you're counting on Brian Branch to cover or
Jalen Naylor.
Jalen Naylor or whoever our nickel corner is that play. And we finally got pressure onto a quarterback for the first time since week 5. We stunted a lot more, which I like to see, and we also blitzed, like noticeably blitzed more than just one guy a lot, which I like to see.
Yeah, and off the top of my head, I haven't looked at any of the actual pressure stats. We definitely did blitz a lot. It didn't feel like watching live we got like hands on Darnold a ton. But the way the blitzes were designed, where they were a lot of kind of wraparound stunts, where it's like what is that? T and
tackle on nose to the outside, or T. What do they call it? Whenever the tackle goes outside and goes in.
You can visualize it. Someone slants down, wrap around the back, up the A gap. Usually, I thought that just look was flustering Darnold a lot. Like it was almost like a simulated pressure in a way, where you would expect there to be pressure wrapping around. We didn't always get home by any means. We did get close, but like just him seeing those looks over and over again, I think riled him a lot. In that case, you can't tell the story of this game without just flat out saying that Sam Darnold and the Vikings left a lot on the table. We still were the better team and we deserved to win the game, but that game should have been a lot closer if he just simply completes passes that he did the entire season.
The red zone mistakes amplifies of how that outcome of the game was. Mm-hmm. Multiple missed throws on, I would say, wide open receivers in the red zone, and you're calling on somebody to compete for a Super Bowl. That's a Super Bowl caliber team. Super Bowl caliber defense. The best, arguably one of the best wide receivers in the league, and you got 3 field goals. Now, they missed one. They could have had 12 points or whatever, but the red zone efficiency is the glaring alarm I would take away from that.
I mean, even just off the top of my head, I can think of, without going through the box score, he missed Hawk down the seam on like a 30-yard chunk play
route
to start the game. That would have been huge for their momentum. He missed Jefferson on a like stutter and go in the red zone against Robertson. He was
Hawk
wide
on the
open.
First drive on it, just a simple third and whatever it was on a simple
He missed Hawk on the out route. And the ones he didn't throw were even more alarming. He had Addison open twice on like rub route concepts, one out breaking, one in breaking. And watching live, I was like, oh, I literally said that's 6 out loud to myself on the couch. He just never threw the ball.
Throw it to it.
Panicked and looked over left to Jefferson on one of them, threw it high. And the other one, he scrambled out and tried to throw it to Addison again. And TA was there to make the coverage. So he just, I know the joke on him was the seeing ghosts from like the Jets game early in his career, but like he felt like they kept doing zoomed in shots of his eyes. And he did look like rattled the entire game. And I kept thinking like he's going to figure it out because he's turned a corner. He just never did in this game. And we benefited a lot from that. Not saying we need to be alarmed going forward, but we're in a phase. Like if we ran that same scheme that we did, it was the right scheme in Aaron Glenn masterclass. Matt Stafford probably has a different time against that specific coverage with Cooper Kupp and Nakua. But again, you play to the opponent you're playing. I thought it was a perfect scheme to rattle Sam Darnold. It basically was like Aaron Glenn testing him one last time in the biggest game. Like, I'm going to cover zero you, and we're going to bring everybody. Can you figure it out? And if you do, I'll tip your cap. And he didn't figure it out. And that was the genius behind it, really.
Psycho move, but it worked.
It was. I saw one stat. It was like the Lions were ranked dead middle, 16th in the league and using cover 0. And they ran it so much that game, they jumped up to 6th in the league when the game was done. They just
ran it every play.
They just ran it. It did help, though, that like there were so many red zone passing plays where they, kind of could they didn't need the back end coverage, but
showed man and then ran zone underneath with the linebackers as the bracket guys, I would say, or soft. They kind of ran like a man, but instead of having help over top or inside or outside, they just two big old spies right there in the middle of the end zone that were just watching eyes of Sam Darnold.
I remember saying out loud to Nowaski, he was lined up as an edge rusher, faking like he was going to blitz, and we were just lined up one-on-one with Robertson against Jefferson, lined out left. I was like, Nowaski better drop back into a slant zone because this is the easiest 6 I've ever seen in my life if he doesn't. And he did, so that worked.
Did anybody else's heart actually stop, skip a beat when Van Geekel dropped the for sure pick 6?
Yes.
Yeah, that was because it was 17-9.
Our good friend Cody in the group chat
doomsday.
said that, and I was watching it with roommate and KC was over watching it. Literally, KFM was over.
KC. KFM.
He said that we both said the same exact thing at the same time. I was like, my heart actually stopped. You could feel your heart stop and then restart again, and you could feel your heartbeats after that.
Yeah, that tip felt like 5 minutes of real time. I also
didn't think we had an answer for what's his name the first 3 drives. Bernard. Grenard. There you go.
His spin move. He did one spin move. Remember we chipped him and then he did a spin move.
Frickin' pretzel there for a while.
Yeah. The final score really doesn't indicate how tight this game felt. My darkest moment was the 4th down in the first half that we didn't convert. Pulling it up here, it was 4th and
batted ball at the line.
It wasn't even 1. I'm not even going to call it 4th and 1. Like I said, it was a pubic hair.
Quote from Grant: 4th in the pubic hair. End quote.
It was a freshly shaved one. It was
but in fairness, I don't know how there's not enough evidence that the ball lands right on the yard line. His arm.
They expedited a review later that was the exact same thing and gave us a first down. It was the exact same thing.
Yeah, when that same line, it was the same line, Judge. I got Commersa was in and out of it, but I got an audible laugh from her. He came walking in again when they spotted him 2 yards short, and I was like, this guy. I was like, that guy. I don't know his name, and then they expedited it, and I was just so happy with myself that they stopped him from committing these crimes of blindness on where the ball was landing. Jahmyr Gibbs got launched over a pile, and he's like, nah, he's 2 yards back here.
And was laying on top of, I think, Ragnow or Sewell, and was like, yeah, he's not down until his face touched first, and they're like, oh yeah, stupid.
But this specific 4th and 1, 3:42 left in the second quarter at the Minnesota 42. Dan Skipper reports is eligible. We get cute. The play was open. It's one of those things that Alex has always yelled at us about. You can't be mad that it didn't get the result when the concept was there. It was there. J-Mo was wide open. I understand that. But the inherent risk of when you pass is that balls can get tipped down. People could drop it.
It's only one good thing when you throw the ball, 2 negative things.
The old Woody Hayes quote. In this case, if it's 4th and a pubic hair, not even 1, you're either sneaking or you're running behind 58. And that's all I need to see. In that case, 4th and 2, 4th and 3, do it what you want. Scheme it up. But I think they'll learn from that going forward. Maybe not, because Ben Johnson is a made man. He doesn't really care what any of us think. Rightfully so. He's awesome and knows more about football than any of us. But in that case, it felt warranted that we didn't need to pull that play out there. We could have kept the drive going like we've done. Even against the Bills, we did QB sneaks. We've done QB sneaks pretty well recently. I just thought that was a no-brainer opportunity to do it. And then in my head, I started playing the kind of middle 8, the last 4 minutes of that half, first 4 of the next. I'm like, there's a real chance that we're down 17-7 to this team in a blink of an eye. And that's going to be really bad. Fortunately, Will Reichard gave us a gift from the gods and shanked the ball out of bounds to give us 3 points.
He was not
and
ready
they only
for the
scored
moment.
A field goal. No, he was though. He was nails against Michigan in the Rose Bowl. He was money for that team. I can't
Jake
believe
Moody
it.
was also good in college.
Also true.
And that guy's not going to have a job next year.
Apparently,
He's gonna be selling
not
insurance.
to get into it, there's been some long snapper issues with Jake Moody that
Niners
Michigan
fans.
State
Pepper
long
is not
snapper.
the issue.
No. Unbiased Niners fans are doing slow-mo breakdowns of the ball coming out of Pepper's hands and saying that's when it started going bad for Jake Moody.
Michigan State long snapper.
I didn't realize.
Breaking a kicker.
Does it really matter when the ball gets back there? Because there's still somebody has to catch it and put it down and spin it.
Something about the rotation on the ball, Evan. I'd have to send you the
But the
video.
snapper's
The
rotation.
snapper,
The ball is still when you're
the
kicking it.
holder. The
Sorry.
holder stops the motion of the ball and then changes.
Paul Bunyan.
No, that
sabotage.
doesn't
The
make
ball
any sense.
is still when you're kicking it.
That doesn't make any sense.
There's a real
You're
video
saying
I stumbled
the
upon.
way he snaps it changes how the ball then comes off of
So
a
what is there?
standstill kick.
I'm not saying it.
What
I'm
is
not
there
That's
saying
the
it.
dumbest thing you've ever said on this show.
I'm not saying it. I didn't say it.
So what's their argument when the
reporting
long
it.
snapper like
Find this video and send it
busts
to me.
one
I
back
need
there
to
and
see
it rolls and the snapper gets it down and snaps it?
I
it.
defer
Just
all,
find it
all
and send it
questions.
before this week is over, so
Just
I can
triggered
watch
Alex
it.
and I.
This
Yeah,
is
that
a
was- that
crazy
was-
take. I don't think you thought about it when you
The
said that.
spin rate of the ball going back there before it is still
Despite the fact that it completely stops and it goes to a still motion.
mind blowing.
I think he squeezes the ball so hard when he snaps it, he puts a permanent indent in the ball.
I apologize. It was about is there a direct correlation to Moody's misses and when Pat O'Donnell took over as the placeholder? Sorry, holder.
Oh.
Jesus, Grant, get your shit together.
Crisis averted.
We're throwing Tabor Pepper under the bus. Just
You
the way
put
he
Michigan State on
so-
Michigan rivalry right there.
Anyways, back to our game. Yeah, the fourth down fail was the scariest part, along with the Van Ginkel dropping a pick six. Once we got up to what, 24-9, game was not over officially, like where you can really relax, but it felt like we were in a good spot with how our
31-9,
defense
it's
was
over.
playing. Yes, 31-9, yes.
That's what Evan texted. It's over.
How does the performance with the defense affect your confidence for the rest of the playoffs, if all? Alex, you answer that one.
I mean, I just think it just depends on who we're going to play. Obviously, I wouldn't feel great against the Eagles still with the weapons that they have on offense. Saquon, mainly. Felt like Minnesota still ran the ball relatively okay.
Cam Akers bust, that hurt. That was
one
uncalled for.
Sucked.
That was a delay game. I don't know if the clock on the
Rewatch
TV was
that
off
clip.
or what, but
Rewatch that clip. I think Campbell lost his assignment, or
Yeah, Campbell got sucked in.
Campbell got sucked. Oh. Campbell
That
went
was so
out.
weird. He went the wrong.
Campbell went out.
Way.
I think there was a handoff and you do that fake motion across, like behind, like in between the running back and the
It's
quarterback.
like he was playing like an outside zone to the left.
Correct. So he saw a jet motion away from him. He has to follow because he's the boundary defender in that situation. And now there's not a cutback, A gap, B gap, run support, run filler there, and that's where Cam Akers took it.
great pursuit by Kirby.
You rewatch the angle from behind, like they showed it only once on NBC. It's Campbell literally goes the opposite direction because of that.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, there's no one there.
Aaron Jones was hurt because any competent running back cribs that.
Oh, yes.
That was
somebody
a semi-truck.
that's not 85 years old.
Let me say it this way, Alex. Did the defensive performance, because
Make
I
me feel
think
better
than like if we won a 40-37 shootout.
Yes.
I thought
Yes.
so. I'm more bought in.
Yes, but I also need to realize Darnold missed throws,
A lot. Throws.
and
But there's a
Like,
chance we would be playing some
Amik,
quarterbacks.
the last time we played Jefferson, he said, like, I love the match. He even tweeted after the first Minnesota game that when he gets Jefferson again, he'll be ready. So, like, he already had that dog in him ready to
Did you
go.
know their backstory?
Yes, they had played
They
against
should
each
have
other in high
done-
school. Like,
They
bunch
should have done
times.
more of that, like leading up to the game. I would
They
have
showed
been
the
more.
one picture of them playing in college.
But they
Ryan
only
Clark
played
tweeted-
once in college.
It was the best like camp display he's ever seen between two people as rising seniors, like their one-on-one drills in Louisiana. And I was like, how did we not know the
How did he
storyline
only
going
go to
into the game?
Louisiana Tech, though?
We had the secret weapon the whole time. Amik Robertson.
I knew about that because Amik Robertson tweeted about it after the first time we played them.
And then he drops a
So-
quote of the year that
Do you really think
I'm
Ryan Clark
raised
knew
in the
that
dirt.
and Ryan Clark watched it?
I know you hate Ryan Clark, Evan, but I think she was there.
Bullshit. I'm calling BS. I need
Either
a picture
way.
to prove it.
So he got up extra for this game because we've watched him all year. I mean, he hasn't played like that all season. And Chris Collinsworth, I mean, talk about glazing. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
Chris Collinsworth wanted Amik Robertson.
But I thought it was all, I know I'm biased, but I thought it was warranted.
It was warranted. Yeah, he played out of his mind.
Also saying, Mike, I'm just so stunned at how this game went. I agree. I was sitting there, I cannot believe it's 9 points. I thought Chris Collinsworth was meeting the moment.
He's a lot.
Middle of the game, end of the third quarter, second half, or whatever, and he's talking about.
I like Chris Collinsworth for the most part.
He's talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Doesn't this
national broadcast?
Doesn't this just remind you of the
times? Nothing as bad as Gus Johnson, Evan.
We would go and call some Pittsburgh Steeler games, and they'd be trying to run the football down the team. It's like, what the does this have to do with this game?
National audience, Evan. They got to appeal to everybody.
Bullshit.
Because then you got Luke at home, like, yeah, it does remind me of those Pittsburgh games. You know what I don't need? I like that crew.
That crew sucks.
I know you hate
like
them. You texted that. There's not many crews I dislike. Gus Johnson's on the list now. My God.
He's so bad.
What I will say, though, is I don't like when the lead play-by-play guy, and I'm only calling out Tarico because he did it, like tries to tell me it was the right call by the official. I don't need your input on whether it was he said good call on one of those, like just kind of snotty after the. I was like, I don't need.
I think he did that because earlier he was like pissed about the delay of game stuff.
Like I don't think
he was just trying to like make sure people knew that he wasn't against the refs.
Like for the intentional grounding as well. Why don't you say that one will be hotly contested this week? Not that's the wrong call. Like you're not. That's not your gig, dude.
Yeah, just you're not getting your opinion based on this.
Yeah, I know you know ball and you maybe read the rule book once a year, but like you don't need to sit here and unless you're truly an expert and you are going to go into the weeds about it and explain to all of us what should happen. I don't need you telling me good call or bad call.
To answer your question, I feel better about the defense, but at the same time, I think a lot of it was a one-off opportunity and game plan that I don't know if you can do that every week. Like we're not going to hold it. Another team to single digits and no touchdowns in the playoffs. That's not happening.
But the spin zone is the crazy part. Is I would say most fans would agree with me that our offense probably played like a B game and still scored 31 points.
Turnovers.
And still had 31 points. Like, what's the ceiling?
They blew the doors off in the end of the game and started figuring things out.
You play an A game 2 weeks in a row, the way they're playing right now, you're probably scoring 45. And you're going
that's
to
what we,
New Orleans.
I still think that's what we need.
Can this offense get to 35, 38 points? Because I think we have a very good shot to win if you get to those.
There's a chance we play
not enough possessions in the NFL.
Commanders first round. I'll feel pretty good about the defense in that game, I think, for the most part.
Shrink the game. What was that one drive we went on, Evan, when you texted great drive? That was a soul-sucking drive that we went on.
That ended with the Texas Gibbs route.
Yeah, 13 plays, 70 yards, 7 minutes, 25 seconds, just right in your face.
Back, I think they scored a field goal. Obviously,
they scored it.
Yeah, we threw
we said biggest
deep
drive
middle.
This season.
We threw the Nussmeier pick. We threw a Nussmeier pick. They kicked a field goal. Then we went on a 7.5 minute touchdown drive.
Yeah.
Huge. What did you guys think about KOC's decisions? Because I'm using Marissa as a talking point here, but she was like, because they kept talking about the broadcast, like, oh, the Vikings never go for it on fourth down, but like Dan Campbell's kind of got you in his like twilight zone right now where you think you have to go for it.
It is that situation where, but you should probably also looking at it. Okay, how's Sam Darnold playing? Are we going to come back down here in the red zone all these times? And also, I think the biggest thing is I have to keep up with the Lions offense.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to keep up with the Lions offense with freaking field goals.
I think he did it wrong in some ways because he went for it early a couple times, but then he settled later for field goals. Like, I think he should have just went all in one way or the other. I think he settled those field goals because they were a little bit farther back and 1 or 2 more yards deeper. I just think like there were times where I was like, he should go, and other times where he
calls instead of the fourth down calls. A couple of those third downs, it was 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and if you know you're going for it on fourth down, I'm doing a run play there.
Maybe that's the difference where like we know we're always doing that. I thought his calls on fourth were correct because I was like, well, if they kick field goals every time, what do they lose? 31-15? Like, cool, like sick. Yeah. But
I just thought they should have went for it every time.
Like we just get so many psychotic reps of that, and that's why we're numb. Like I forget the Gibbs route was 4th and 5. Like it just we just convert them because we do them so often.
Another play.
Yeah, but that's the difference between the Dan Campbell team where like he's a psycho and we do those so many times that like we don't flinch as much as Sam Darnold did in those situations. Like Jared Goff's the Was that a fourth down? The one he hit Jamo on that crosser with that was probably his best throw of the game. That blitz in his mouth from Josh Metellus.
Yeah, it was.
And he was kind of looking off the linebacker. I think one of the beat writers did a breakdown of it. He was it wasn't a no look, but he was kind of looking off the linebacker.
Brian Bollinger did a breakdown of it too.
I mean, it's crazy. We get to fourth down and the offense is just immediately huddles. Ben Johnson's looking down at his play sheet. They flash the sideline. It's like no doubt about it. We already
those
know.
Shots of him and Flores were so sick. I was like, oh my god.
Small little minute detail about that. I think it's just more beneficial that we go for it all the time because you're not playing this cat and mouse game of, all right, am I coming off? Am I going on? Instead, it's all right.
We already know.
You already have the play. Ben Johnson already has a play call in with like 20 seconds left.
Like 6 days before the game.
And his third down call is to set up whatever he's doing the next play.
Before, some teams probably are like, oh, should we go for it? Should we not? Now you're already wasting 5 or 8 seconds off the play call, and it's going to cut out at 15 seconds. So
my favorite part of the broadcast was like, Chris was like, you think Ben even asks Dan for if we're going for it?
Hell no.
Like, no. They've already got a plan. I think that's just so diabolical
and
that
to be honest,
already have a fourth down in before our coach has even decided.
A lot of the areas that we go for it are that the gray zone, middle of the field, whatever 40 to 40 area, kind of where if you really truly don't get the playoff and you take a delay a game, okay, it's only going to benefit your special teams and your punt more than the freak out of.
And remember,
anywhere else.
Remember this, this game, it all worked. All season, it's really worked. Last year, we lost in the NFC Championship game on 2 dropped fourth down conversions.
Yep.
Let's just hope it doesn't happen again.
Correct. It's like we said.
Well, we have to live and die with it because it's living with it for 15 wins.
But in fairness, Alex, I think this year's fourth down play calls, I think are going to be going to a little bit better options. Now Jamo's more involved in the pass game. Josh Reynolds, now he was significant, he was good, dropped it. But now speaking of it, who would you rather have a ball being thrown to? Josh Reynolds or Jahmyr Gibbs right now?
Well, Gibbs, for sure.
Gibbs.
Josh Reynolds got shot in the head a few months ago.
Sorry.
Really?
Yeah. He's alive.
My God.
Yeah, he's fine.
Ooh. He was a baller in that Rams game. Never forget. The wild card game, he was sick.
He made so many nice touchdown grabs in the back of the end zone last year. It was great.
Tim Patrick better not be a Josh Reynolds.
Tim Patrick is the guy. If you throw it to him on fourth down, I'm nervous. I'm not feeling good.
We have no reason to be same with Josh Reynolds, but then it happened all in one night, and you're like, oh my God.
Honestly, you throw it to Jamo on fourth down, I don't feel that good. He's been catching a lot of passes this year.
I always am how
every time it goes to him and it's in traffic, I'm like, oh, he's dropping this for sure. But he always holds on.
He's a body catcher, but it works for him.
Yeah, so I'm just want to remind the people if they want to go berserk on Dan at the end of the year, if we lose again on a fourth down type of situation, just remember all the wins we got because of it.
No, to your point, and that's why I think it's been so mind-boggling for Lions fans. I still think Lions fans don't know what they actually want. I think they go back and forth. I am glad, though, that Jared Goff came out and said they were not going to go for it when they drew him off. That was the plan, to draw him off. Because that was one. I drew the line stupid. We need to be up 3 scores, Dan. We're not. But it was part of the plan. They were never going to snap it. It was
Marcus
to draw him off. And we're so crazy that they actually worked. They got Harrison Smith to jump, and he's like a 20-something, whatever. You
go for it that much.
He's a vet.
He's a blitz boy.
Think that you are.
I love the Hitman. I can't. I love him. I have one more point, Evan, on the Dan Campbell stuff.
Oh, my question's about Dan Campbell.
I like the national. Well, if I start to cut it off, let me know.
Go ahead.
I like when we get the national media games with the announcers and then all the people that chime in, the writers that are like. Because remember last year, a lot of people were like, "Oh, the Lions won't go for it as much this year because they're going to have a good kicker." Like they had Michael Badgley, so they had to go for it in the gray zone over and over again. It's like, no, that's just who he is. And I always have to remind myself that he was not good at this. Like I was looking back through some old texts today because that's a bigger point towards the end of when you look back on the season and the years before. But we were begging him. I always go back to that Minnesota game that we lost at US Bank where he tried to kick the field goal and we missed it. And it was 4th and 3 or whatever. It's like we went through lumps with him where his game management was not that good. And he was actively trying to figure it out. And it's I think people just have this assumption nationally that he's always been a psychopath when he wasn't. He tried out every option that he had like good and bad. There was the Bills Thanksgiving game. We like gave away like 40 seconds of clock one time. And it's like he slowly figured out what made sense for his team and trusted the players, and him and Ben have this plan and everyone's bought in. It's not like he's just a psychopath that decided one day we're going to go for it on every fourth down. He like went through all these options.
We'll just go for it.
Yeah, like this is the best option. So it's always a good perspective when national people get involved and think he's a psycho and it's going to backfire. It's like, well, it could, but we've also had 3 years with him and we kind of know what to expect. 4 years.
Question.
Answer.
I saw this question popping around today in social media. Is Dan Campbell currently, in all of the 4 major sports, the best leader of men?
Yes.
Probably. Baseball doesn't really compare. Like, I don't think a manager gets people fired up the way that any other sport does. So I'm going to rule them out. I feel like NHL coaches come and go so much. I feel like there's not.
Like
maybe that's recency bias, where like they get sacked and they bring in an old head.
In all of the 4 major sports, now that is a lot of people.
Yes,
but
basketball coaches
best
like aren't
leader in professional sports in the U.S. right now is
of just like being able to get a guy to follow you. Yes, I would 1,000% say it's Dan Campbell. I think most people would agree.
Could be missing an obvious one, but it
Dan
feels like
Campbell,
a yes.
the best leader in all of football, college or NFL.
Yes.
Well, Saban's gone, so that would have been his biggest competition. Kirby's program has gotten kind of crazy with their off-field stuff.
Well,
but
come on, his dad just died.
That was a crazy story.
It was.
I do feel bad for him. That sucked.
Small perspective of how.
Yeah, that happened like before the game too.
Yeah, how like surgeries, like taken for granted, just like an easy basic surgery could.
Made me very scared for any surgery operations. But his name comes to mind. I think McVay's still awesome. I know they've had their ups and downs. I feel like he gets his team to buy in for him.
People would run through a wall.
I'm just saying, just like the leader of men.
Yeah,
every former NFL player that's like on TV that talks about Dan Campbell's like, oh, I would have loved to play for him. Tom Brady's like, oh, I would have loved to play for Dan.
Jonathan
Tom Brady
Smith
would have loved to play for this offense because the ball's always in your hands. We're going for it regardless.
My answer is yes. I think Dan Campbell's the best leader of men. He might not have the most football knowledge. I think he's pretty smart, but in terms of just straight up leading dudes to a war, like Dan Campbell's the guy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
People love him. Love him.
I love him.
Yeah, I mean, I do too.
When Connor sent that text about he's just throwing out hypotheticals, which I appreciate, but he was talking about like trading Dan for KOC to keep your offensive coordinator. I almost got like over the top and I was like, Connor, I don't know if you understand, like Dan's like an influential member of like my life where like I feel like less of a because he's my head football coach. Like he has that effect on like people in our city that like I don't want to complain about the cold weather because my head coach is grinding and like
and complains that he has to wake up and he's like, oh, Dan Campbell's my head coach. I can't let him down
like,
today.
When I don't want to go to the gym when it's freezing, I'm like, Dan Campbell is busting his ass for me to enjoy Sundays. I can go to the gym. Like it really is that deeply ingrained when I watch him speak.
Like he genuinely means that too. Like he does it for like the fans and everybody else, not just himself and the guys.
Dude, there was a video going
crazy person
of his Hard Knocks when he first got here. He was talking to the UAW like auto workers at the Ford plant. I think the guy from McAfee shared that long hair, COVID, before he even coached the snap, and he's just like laying out his heart and soul of his vision for how to turn the city into a winner. And I'm like, dude's gonna make me cry. I'm like, this guy is. I'm getting goosebumps listening to him talk like 3 years ago when everyone thought he was a laughing stock after his post.
I would not trade him for any coach at all. I don't think there's anyone I would take over him.
No, he's the best.
I would take in the NFL right now.
He did the impossible. He turned Detroit into like a winner and a destination.
I would take Andy Reid.
No, I wouldn't.
Andy Reid is funny. He's his own legend, but in a different way.
I think Dan embodies this team and city and state more than anybody else.
The one I'll give credit to Barstool Detroit. They had a great tweet to kind of. I think when there's like regular season finales like this, the last 2 years, like you really go nostalgia of like where you actually came from as a franchise. Just theirs was about the Vikings in general, which I never clicked. Like the Vikings were our first ever win when we were 11 or 10. We wore the gray jerseys. Amon-Ra had the comeback route. They went crazy. So we had that with them. Then obviously we clinched the division against them last year, and now we clinched it again this year. Like there's a weird like little history of just progression against the Vikings. They've always been a part of those moments. And then the one that was really standing out was when it was times were dark the first year, and Sheila had to hold a press conference in the middle of the week saying she wasn't going to fire. That had to be first. Well, no, that was the middle of the second. You're right. That was right. The middle.
Wasn't that right after the Patriots game when I almost gave
the
up
worst game of football I've ever watched? Almost.
Product.
Well,
second,
Eagles.
Second. You're
Eagles
right. Second
was the
worst
worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
But the Patriots weren't supposed to be that good because it was like Mac Jones, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like Bailey Zappi. We got zappied. We scored no points.
Yeah, it was at the Patriots.
Alex wasn't even watching Lions football then. It was so bad.
I was watching.
You didn't watch the Dolphins game. I know you didn't. You're like,
I did not watch the Dolphins game after the Patriots game.
And she had to go out there and say, we're not firing them. Like, that's how close we were to people like just panicking and to see how far we've come. And I love that. Go watch that Green Bay locker room speech when we didn't make the playoffs. They like put that out there again when he was like laying the vision out of him and Sheila saying all roads lead through Detroit after they didn't know it, but ended Aaron Rodgers' career. And I'm just like, it's crazy. It all happened. Now we're 15-2.
That's why that game mattered so much, and people said it didn't, but that game was huge.
That game was the foundation.
Well, the NFL screwed us over that game anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Correct. Now it doesn't matter. Now
before we end this Lions segment,
the NFL thought
Evan, this is your chance to apologize for your puddling about the 49ers
I'm not apologizing.
Week. And there was ridiculous text messages from you and Wilkins in the first
I'm not apologizing.
I haven't had a chance to talk about this with anybody, but come on. That was ridiculous.
I'm not apologizing for my takes and the live action facts about what was happening
in the first quarter.
Yes! If every game matters, every matters.
Over.
I didn't say it was over.
You said Minnesota was going to hang 200 on us. And then
I didn't say 200. You're taking
I've never had one from Evan.
What? Evan started it.
I did not say they were going to hang 200 on us.
That's why I was mad yesterday. Everyone just kind of let Evan off the hook. Evan was deep in that.
I'm glad I went to bed. I did say that they would score 7.
I'll have to go back.
I'm pretty sure.
It was crazy.
The one for Cody, he did kind of caveat. He said, like, we have no shot of winning with the bodies we have available. So that kind of leaves the door open for Anzalone. He could play Anzalone was back card. So
we're moving on, but Evan.
Wyatt kissed goodbye to the 1 seed in the middle of the Niners game. It's like, guys.
When Ricky Pearsall and their backup running back is carving our butts.
Well, we know Pearsall's a dog. We drafted him for the Lions.
We did draft him for the Lions.
We wanted him. And we won that.
Josh Gosson's favorite player.
I have a couple more Lions things. I need to apologize.
Long show.
Actually, you're good. Or Alex, you're good. You don't have to apologize. Evan, you can do what you want. And the rest of the fan base, honestly. We owe 34, our captain, Anzalone, some apologies.
Hi. Okay, Grant.
I have texts that I said, like, I don't need him here. I don't know why we re-signed him. He did not look great.
Or two, he looked slow.
He was bad the first year.
Alex, to your credit, I look back, you were like, I don't love him, but like, I don't have a problem with him. He's a good depth piece if we draft a linebacker.
Yeah, I don't mind having him, and I definitely don't mind having him now.
But nobody envisioned what this dude means now to this team. He's insane. He just flies around. He's a pest. He's staring down Hawkinson. He might be getting away with a couple holds, but like, it doesn't matter.
The more and more you think about the NFL, it's really not how good you are. It's just basically who you know and what scheme fits you. Because
Saints connection, yeah.
Like Glenn worked with the Saints. You looked at like half of the Minnesota like new signees is just because they worked or played for Brian Flores, come from Miami or from Houston, and they're just pieces in his wheel. And where Anzalone is now just a piece in what used to be Glenn's scheme, but now he is the backbone of the Lions defense. And it also helps that Jack Campbell's made a huge progress this year in his second year.
Yeah.
But
the more we get
those
closer,
two trustworthy linebackers, I mean, I always thought like, okay, linebackers aren't really that big of a deal, plug and play, next man up for that position. But this game solidifies just how important your captain, your play caller on defense to get everybody lined up and know exactly where he's got to be 24/7, night and day. Because in previous games, we were getting wheel route to death by our practice squad new signees.
The dude for the Bills, I forget his name already.
Quan Alexander.
Ty Johnson was just cooking our ass.
And whether just watching Josh Allen Be like, yes, you're not moving, and then the running back's running right behind him.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, not coincidence, that the closer we get to playing the style of defense that Glenn likes to play with the man and the stuff they ran with the Saints, the better Anzalone's getting because he's like built for that scheme. But like early when Glenn was there, we couldn't really play like that when we had Jeff Okuda running around out there. So
Still in the league.
Still in the league. We've gotten
Playoff
better.
team.
Yeah, good for him. So sorry to Anzalone. I love you.
Texans.
He's questionable. He probably
Evan said we're gonna have to score 60 next week, and then changed it to later. Said shit, probably 70.
Way to score 10, Evan. Isn't that nuts?
And then he said the greatest offensive. This is the one that bothered me. Greatest offensive team in Lions history, and we get the 5 seed. You declared the 5 seed last week, first quarter against the Niners. And then you said our defense does not have what it takes to win anything meaningful this year. So, just wanted to get that out there.
That
burn the boats. Burning the boats.
Burning the boats. We're moving on.
Well,
that was a first quarter reaction.
Back, Alex. Hutchinson moved from the suite to the sideline, dude. Big difference. Never.
He might play next week. That's
play next week.
When I saw him down there, I was like, he could give us 5 snaps.
I don't think he could play
with one leg.
He won't play this year.
I'm
even
joking.
If we get the Super Bowl.
You know how dirty the NFL is.
Montgomery, though, he's playing.
Cut block him.
Montgomery's sounding giddy about how he's playing with a torn MCL.
You already said Amik Robinson, but like, great moment for him. Unbelievable moment for that guy in his career. Good for him.
Quote from him.
Yeah, the dirt quote.
Dirt.
You can't bury what came from the dirt. That was some Batman shit. That's like Bane, born in the dark. Last few notes. Uniform talk. We get to keep the black uniforms. I know Evan will enjoy that. We would have to burn those black uniforms if we lost.
I don't enjoy that, Grant.
I don't like the black uniform.
Well, you're a big uniform
savant.
Jinx or like vibes. Yeah. And if we were 1-2 and we only lost 3 games the whole year in those, we would never be able to wear them again.
Yeah.
We better not wear them in the playoffs though. The all blues are like historically 15-1 or something.
I did see a stat. We're like 20-3 or 25-3 when we wear all blue or all white, and we're 10-13 in any other combo.
All blue, we're 20.
All blue, all white. Just all one color.
We're wearing all blue both games. I'm sorry. You can't.
Yeah.
Well, if it's not the Chiefs, then we'll be blue in the Super Bowl again, right?
We get home no matter what. We're the NFC's home team. NFC's home team this year.
So all blue.
I saw a tweet
all
already.
Blue, 3 games in a row.
Oh. Boy, am I getting nervous.
Jahmyr Gibbs, without a doubt, best Lions running back since Barry Sanders.
Best running back in the NFL.
Alex, he's the 3rd best running back in the NFL.
He can't be, Evan. He cannot be.
Saquon Barkley would have broke the NFL rushing record.
Gibbs would have too if he played every snap. Like
Alex,
he did
you just got to play the workload card. Just play the workload card.
Oh my god.
Workload card.
For our history, though, Lions team best since Barry Sanders.
Yes,
there's zero question.
And Montgomery's third.
But in fairness, David Montgomery's second. Well,
third.
Barry Sanders,
Gibbs,
Monty.
Montgomery.
Yeah, correct.
Reggie Bush 1 season.
Jamal Williams.
Reggie Bush. Our running backs have not been very good. They're the lowest track record.
Dare I say bad.
Shitty. Kevin Smith, Kevin Jones,
Mikel LaShore.
Offensive lines were not good either. I think about our offensive lines. I remember I knew like
definitely
Jeff Backus, and that was it.
Dominic Raiola.
Yep.
Yeah.
Manny Ramirez.
All right, here's a spicy stat for you. I should have tweeted this out because I saw a beat reporter actually tweet it. The thought I had earlier in the day, and I got a bunch of likes. But I was curious about our draft debate when we took Gibbs and what was the comp? Alvin Kamara. We said he's got to be Alvin Kamara. Here's a stat: the most scrimmage yards in a year for Alvin Kamara was 1,688. 1,688 for Kamara. Jaws scrimmage yards this year at 1,929.
It's just so much better.
Even if you add the extra game or 2, he's Alvin Kamara, if not better. And it's in year 2.
He's faster
in the league. He's the best back in the league. He is.
Worse balanced than Kamara. Kamara would bounce off blocks even better, but faster. He's so quick.
1A,
the line of scrimmage.
Saquon, 1B, Jameer.
Derrick Henry also had a career 2,000-yard year.
Third, I'd rather have Gibbs.
Workload.
No doubt in my mind, I would rather have Gibbs than Derrick Henry.
Gibbs and Lamar Jackson in a backfield would be impossible to stop.
Gibbs also
you'd have two
is a
running backs in
great
the
pass
backfield.
catcher.
You can't do that.
Do you see his nasty Texas route we get at least once every 3 weeks? It's disgusting.
I need it more. I need it 5 times a game.
I don't know why we don't run it every
Blake
play.
Cashman is regarded, well, he wasn't on him that play, but in general, he did it other times.
Alex's
Blake
boy
Cashman's
Van Giegel was on that play. Tried to disguise
was
the
he?
blitz. Yep, try to disguise the blitz. Hide Van Giegel on the outside. Run
Van Giegel
right up the seam,
stinks.
buddy. Sorry.
I mean, Gibbs
So
shook
easy.
him. It was like 7 yards away, and it was only a 9-yard play.
Well, yeah, because Van Giegel realized that he had to cover Gibbs after Gibbs was running
I feel like
25
if
miles per hour
anybody
by
sees
him.
Gibbs, they're like, "Oh, we're."
Yeah, maybe Tyreek
But Van
Hill could
Giegel
guard
did
him.
ring his bell pretty good.
Oh, forgot
Jared.
about that.
My guy Jared just put him in danger right there.
Jared had
Sewell
some-
misblocked.
the
Glasnow.
screens,
Jared had
Nice
like
block.
5, like, what are we doing throws.
screens in the just immediate like wide receiver or halfback screens. They were never working. We just ran like 6 times.
Okay, at the end of the game when we were running it,
JMO one worked one time.
no, but at the end of the game when we were running to JMO, it was 100% only to get JMO to his 1,000 yards. That was
I
the only
realized that
reason
after
that
the
we were
game.
doing
I
that.
didn't know that
I
until
didn't
after the
know.
game. But
We're just
I
having
was
fun
so
out
pissed
there.
that we were running those screens because they were not working.
For season predictions, last 2 things, we all said they'd go 13-4 when the schedule came out.
All right,
So
not
that was
bad.
our-
We're not super
No,
far
we're not
off.
predicting 15. We're trying
There
to
wasn't-
not be biased.
There was a moment though when Alex said, "Let's do floors in case it gets really bad," and I said 11-6, and you're like, "What? That's only your floor?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's 11-6 or 13-4."
I mean, my
We play
floor
the
was like
AFC
Goff
South,
gets injured.
so in fairness,
Scheduled next year, boys. It's tough.
Yeah, and then the one I put in there: describe this regular season in its full entirety in one word.
Sonic.
Oh, recency bias.
Describe the whole season in
His 4
one
touchdown
word.
celebration was so
One
sick
word.
too. The like meditation pose with the 4s. That was, I don't know where he pulled that from, but that was awesome. I felt like I was watching Erling Haaland score like 4 goals in a Prem game. It's like, this is insane.
All comes back to the prep.
I don't know. I don't have a one word.
Mine's explosive. That's when I think back on this team. That leans
Oh,
more. That leans more towards the offense, but
My word just
explosive.
Be boom.
magical.
I wanted to be like something like
Unbelievable.
revolving. I mean, that is almost.
Goff
Resilient.
I wanted to just be like greatest because it's the greatest Lions season we're ever going to see.
Yeah, the greatest definitely works
Well,
as
not
one
yet,
word.
Alex. Let's not
It's
jinx
the
so
it.
far.
greatest regular season,
season.
in Lions history ever in our life.
Greatest show.
Will
greatest,
never be better than that.
Greatest
The greatest
something,
show.
Greatest something in the den. Greatest.
Unless you guys think we're about to go 16-1 next year.
Maybe.
Nah.
That would be ridiculous. I don't think I can do this every year. This is a lot.
Alex, we have a
It
4 or
takes a
5
lot
year
out of
window.
us.
I mean, it's pretty easy. The Tennessee and like Jacksonville games we didn't even have to watch.
No, God,
True.
no.
It's not that hard to win 15
We're starting
games.
to figure out that we're not going to have to tune in against the bad teams if we don't want to.
Not like full sit down.
But, like-
I put myself under a weighted blanket last night because I needed to. I was just so tense. I was like, I need just to lay in this straight jacket.
I would
That's
just
what it's
chuck
called.
things when we'd score touchdowns. Just throw my shit. Go berserk.
All right, that's it. I like the Rams to beat the Vikings. That's my only wild card upset pick.
I'd like the Commanders to beat
I like
the
the
Bucks,
Commanders
and
to
then
beat
we play
the
the Commanders.
Bucks.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time convincing myself they can do that.
Bucks are banged up in
Bucks-
the secondary.
I just
I'm
a
not like
rookie
that.
quarterback on the road in
I
his
just
first
want the
playoff
rookie
start.
quarterback to come to Detroit. You
But
know,
all he has to do, when in doubt, take off. Dan Quinn's a good defensive coach.
do we think the Eagles? Real quick, Eagles Packers. That's the game that everyone cares about. So what do you think happens there?
Eagles.
by 3 scores.
I don't see it like that. I mean, I think the Packers can win.
No.
Would you rather play the Packers, the Rams, or the Vikings? You gotta play one of them unless the Commanders win,
That's why I just want the Commanders to win. I don't want to play any of them.
and the Packers to lose. In
I'd
that
rather
case,
play the Packers.
No Christian Watson, and the rest of the receivers are kind of dookie. So I
Their
guess
skill
the
guys, Jordan Love
Packers.
doesn't scare me still to this day. Sam Darnold doesn't scare me, but Justin Jefferson.
I am not playing the Vikings again because I think KOC will.
Because we can't do the same game plan against the Vikings again.
Yeah, well, it won't work.
It could though. Aaron Glenn could just say like, "I won't flinch." Bet.
I don't want to face KOC and I don't want to face Stafford, so give me the Packers. But I don't want to face any of them.
I know, isn't that crazy? We're the 1 seed, but I don't feel it's the playoffs. I mean, every team's good.
I would be very nervous that we were all three of us. I wouldn't feel good about any of them. Commanders, I feel great. We would win.
Or Bucks, we can't play the Bucks, I don't think.
Get me the Commanders somehow. Just win. And Packers.
Wait, what seed are the Bucks?
3.
The 3. They're the 3.
Impossible.
Damn it.
Can't play them.
Bucks being the 4 would have been nice, and all the favorites win. That would have been. I want the Bucks or the Commanders. I think are the easiest teams for us to beat.
Yeah, that's why we just need the Commanders to win. That's it.
Yeah, because you can't win 2 playoff games in a row as a rookie quarterback. That'd be impossible.
Worst case scenario: Commanders win, Packers win. We lose to the Packers. That would be terrible. Just because the Packers have been lost to the Bears.
The loss I could probably go to bed at night the best would be the Rams.
I can't stomach any of them.
Yeah, I don't want to lose. Let's just not lose.
The only way the season's not ending in absolute worse despair than last year is if we make the Super Bowl. If we lose in the Super Bowl, I can live with that, I think, more than any other result.
Yeah, agreed. Super Bowl is a one-off.
If we don't get to the conference championship game, it'd be an utter disaster.
Yeah, which is a part of our fan base that this is a first for all of us. We have not gone through being in the catbird seat. Like all the teams I read off that scored all those points, and some of them lost in the, they all
their all the times we watched the NFL playoffs and rooted for the upsets, and they happened, and those 1 seeds lost. Well, now we're the ones. Now
and then next year we go
9-8
with our tough schedule, and then we go to the Super Bowl. It'd be like one of those stupid ass things. Or we just go this year because we're sick.
We deserve it. We have to go this year. It has to be this year.
All right. That's 196. Stay tuned for next week when we have a playoff Lions game to preview.
Oh, cheers.
Happy New Year.